Chapter 9:19. How could she be so strong? Even if he was at the peak of his strength, he would have to deal with it properly in order to have a chance of winning. However, with his current strength, he had no chance at all. Oh my God! How was this possible? She was actually provoking him, curling her finger at him. This action of hers was a bit frivolous. Little girls should pay attention to their appearance. Renyao wasn't a coward either. With a clap of his hands, he shot out explosively. Even after being punched twice by Yizizi, he was still as lively as a tiger. What a character! Seeing that Renyao was still able to stand up, Yizizi clenched her fist, and a surge of energy gathered in her fist. This caused Renyao's expression to darken. Although her aura remained the same, she was frightened to death in her heart. If this punch landed on her, it would definitely pinch her in the chest. Therefore, a wise man does not fight when the odds are against him. Why don't we sit down and talk? Renyao said softly. Why would adults fight? Only children would fight. Adults would deal with problems rationally. Let's talk after the fight. I'm still excited. Yizizi expressed that the sandbag was fine, but she wasn't sure if it could take the next punch. Actually, I'm not feeling well today. Why don't we do it another day? Renyao forced herself to act. She clutched her chest as if she was having a heart attack and urgently needed a cardio reliever. Yizizi's eyes turned cold, and her face became extremely distorted. In front of Renyao, that fist was no longer a fist. Instead, it was death. Boom! Yizizi's punch landed on Renyao's forehead, but it didn't land. A huge astral wind began to sweep through the bottom of the sea. The people standing on the city wall also felt the astral wind. They're here. Bao Ci said in a deep voice. The other two looked at the incoming astral winds with vigilance, not daring to respond at all. Along with a muffled sound, the astral wind touched the city wall, once again emitting a golden radiance. It was dazzling and beautiful. However, the golden light only shone for a while before it gradually weakened and disappeared. However, the astral winds did not disappear completely. The three supreme beings had no choice but to release their battle chi once again. The battle chi within their bodies was also being rapidly consumed. They were truly worried that they wouldn't be able to deal with the upcoming situation. After dealing with this gale with much difficulty, the three primes were very worried about what would happen next. They all took medicinal pills and quickly recovered their strength. However, what happened next? Renyao was a bit unable to remain calm. Looking at the small fist that was in front of her forehead, she shivered. Although the punch didn't hit him, the sea behind him was split apart. How could this girl be so strong? Yizizi waved her little hand. Do you still want to jump around? Don't dance anymore. Renyao swallowed her saliva. Since you are so strong, why didn't you tell me earlier? If you had told me earlier, would I still have resisted, and I even got beaten up, and even got scared just now. This little fellow is too bad. What are you waiting for? Come over and chat with me. Alright. I'll be right there. Renyao didn't dare to stay any longer. Just one of them was already extremely powerful. What about the other four? Wouldn't they be able to overturn the heavens? The six of them sat down again. Renyao placed her hands on her knees and looked straight ahead. She didn't dare to make any other movements. He would never think about crushing them with his fists again, because he didn't have the strength to do so. Where did you come from? Qing Yutong asked while hugging onto Yizizi. I don't know. Go punch him again. Yizizi was very willing to do so. Big brother, I really don't know, I only remember my name, Anne. Renyao hurriedly explained. You bunch of savage women, it wasn't easy for me to run out, how did you end up like this? This isn't my plot at all. What else? Brett asked in a deep voice. Also, I'm a guardian. Renyao said in a low voice, seemingly very embarrassed. Qing Yutong was startled. This is a guardian. Last time at Azure Dragon Empire, I seem to have met a guardian too. What is his name? Su Diao. He is also a very strong person. I even went easy on him that day. TSK Kaiyun pouted his mouth. You are also called a guardian. You are simply too weak. Whoever asks you to protect will suffer. Renyao lowered her head and didn't say a word, as if she received a blow. This girl is right. I was beaten up, and I still want to protect my ass. Yu Hua said tenderly, Flag Master, you can't say it like that. It will give a blow to other people's hearts. N. Renyao responded, expressing that she gave me a blow just now. Qing Yutong hurriedly asked, then, what are you protecting? You couldn't have forgotten about it, right? I don't remember. Renyao pursed her lips, then said soon after, I am so weak, I have already lost the qualifications to be a guardian. Brett said faintly, it is not that you are too weak, it is that we are too strong. That's right, you must not have this kind of thinking, you are still very strong, at least to others. Yu Hua followed up and said, practically consoling this final boss. Renyao was very touched, these are all good people. Thank you all of you are good people, it is me who is too weak, I don't have the face to go and be a guardian. Such a weak guardian, if I were to say it out, it would also be a joke. Right now, Qing Yutong thought of that Su Diao, that man is ice, cold, and this one, is filled with a Chinibyu aura. The contrast between their personalities is truly quite big. If talking about strength, of course that Su Diao is more powerful. This one also stomped his eyes into an omelette, if not, he would also be the same as Su Diao, what a pity, but even so, his strength is still very terrifying. After all, to be able to withstand 2 punches from Yizizi, although he didn't use any strength, it was still a kind of achievement. Qing Yutong asked curiously, then, do you have a place that you want to go to right now? From what brother-in-law said, although this guardian had lost his memories, he seemed to have an obsession in his heart, and that was where he wanted to go. I don't want to go to any place right now, I am too weak. Renyao said dejectedly. Yizizi once again beat a person into autistic. This kind of simple and crude beating was indeed very easy to beat a person into autistic. Renyao let out a long sigh, good people, you all can leave, just let my soul repent here, when I finish my training, I will come out of the mountain. Hearing what Yizizi said, the expressions of the 5 women changed. After all this time, you actually want us to leave, and then you can be lawless by yourself. As expected, you are shameless enough, you have more brains than that Su Diao. Zizi, beat him up. Qing Yutong shouted coldly. Alright, why do you all want to bully me? I am just a little weak, how can you blame me for being weak? What did I do wrong? Could it be that having a weak strength is also a kind of sin? If that's the case, then I will add a sin on top of a sin. Come, humiliate my body as much as you want, if my body can please you all, I am willing to offer my body. The 5 women, end of this chapter. Chapter 920. When this fellow became coquettish, Yang Haotian had nothing to do with it at all. If these 2 coquettish were to walk together, who would be more coquettish? He was really curious. I'm the worst guardian. Renyao sighed softly. No. Compared to being a lousy guardian, it's rare to have a coquettish air. Qing Yutong said with a light smile. What was that saying again? Men just have to be coquettish. Look at brother-in-law, he is very coquettish. During the day, he would act like a gentleman and a boss, but at night, he would transform into a wolf. Brother-in-law was a coquettish type of man. He was especially coquettish in character. Hearing Qing Yutong's words, Ren Yao felt very gloomy. She didn't even try to console me, and actually said that I'm coquettish. How am I, Ren Yao, coquettish? Even if I want to be coquettish, I still have to be coquettish. It's not like I have a guy to be coquettish. Yutong, let's go. There's nothing fun here. Those two people who just left will definitely expose us, Yu Hua said softly. There was no longer a need to stay. Qing Yutong also didn't plan to continue staying here. All right, we can leave now. Hearing the five women's words, Ren Yao was overjoyed. They were finally going to leave. Hurry up and leave. If you guys are here, I feel like a salted fish. A salted fish without any strength. I'll be beaten up by you guys. By the way, that guy is still locked up, right? Brett said as he looked at Yizizi. It was as if he was saying, aren't you going to save him? Yizizi snorted coldly. What does that have to do with me? You'd better die. Kai Yun narrowed his eyes and said, in any case, she confessed to you passionately that night, and even carved a schwanger on her hand. Wow, it's really unforgettable. I don't want to talk to you. Yizizi said and rushed forward. She felt that they could talk about this for the rest of their lives. Right now, there are only these few people. When I go back, those people, just thinking about it makes my scalp numb. It's all that Yang Haotian's fault. Why didn't he just go and die? Let's go as well, Brett said faintly as he dashed forward. Ren Yao was laughing to death in her heart. Leave quickly. You savage women, unreasonable women. There was no way to communicate at all. Yu Hua, Kai Yun, the two of you go up first, wait for me to bring that Yang Haotian up. Qing Yutong felt that Yang Haotian had also put in a lot of effort, and now that he was captured, they couldn't just ignore him, right? All right. Yu Hua and Kai Yun also left, and in an instant, only Qing Yutong and Ren Yao remained. Ren Yao sat upright and seemed to be a bit nervous, thinking to herself, why aren't you leaving yet? Quickly leave. Follow me, help me bring a person out. Qing Yutong said lightly. Bring people. Who are you bringing? Bring someone as coquettish as you. The corner of Qing Yutong's mouth hooked up into a trace of a naughty smile. When these two people bump into each other, would there be intense sparks that would fly out? He was really looking forward to it. Qing Yutong said a few words, then passed the matter to Ren Yao to handle. With a follower by my side, I can indeed relax a bit, and I basically don't need to do this kind of thing myself. Then, can I leave now that I've helped you with this matter? Ren Yao's cute face, coupled with that unique bald head, was a little scary. Leave? Where are you going? I want to meditate on the true meaning of life here and become a qualified guardian. Ren Yao held onto his chest and said, having the intention of repenting. Qing Yutong clenched her small fist and said with a strange smile, there's no use in meditating, follow us and mix around, that's the only way to have a future. Quickly go and handle the matter, don't make me wait anxiously, if not, I will get punched again later on. Speed up, increase your ability to handle matters, this is what you should be meditating on. I what? I'll be right back. Ren Yao felt that she was hopeless. Why did such a thing happen? I'm on the verge of collapse. I'm so angry. I'm so vexed, that's more like it, Guardian, take out your dignity, go go go. Hearing Qing Yutong cheering for her from behind, Ren Yao's entire body didn't feel good, and her entire body immediately rushed out, as if she was running away. You run pretty fast. Qing Yutong suddenly appeared at the right side of Ren Yao, and she was still lying down. Ren Yao swallowed her saliva, these women. None of them are good people. I'm trying to increase my efficiency. Ren Yao squeezed out a smile and said. There weren't any other thoughts in her mind, this time, I can be considered to have met with an iron plate. Luckily, I did not get injured. Qin Yutong patted onto the bald man's head. That's more like it. Hurry up, I will give you the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, we still have to rush to other places. Got it. Qin Yutong stopped running, then looked at Ren Yao and said softly, still want to run, how is that possible? Ren Yao quickly arrived at the front of Water City. Towards the three overlords in front of her, she naturally recognized them. Although they did not appear just now, she was still able to see everything. Right now, Bao Xi and the other two also saw Ren Yao and revealed a curious expression. Who is this? All of them are not wearing any clothes, this is too rude, right? Furthermore, it's neither male nor female, and it's even a bald man. Are they acting in a drama? Who are you? Pai Liangjun shouted loudly. Ren Yao originally had a stomach full of anger, and she really wanted to teach those fellows a lesson, but she still had to handle matters. What, you don't recognize me anymore? Ren Yao said faintly. This is the aura that a guardian should have, the kind that is definitely not a joke. However, facing the five women, she was completely unable to display this kind of aura. In actuality, from the very start, she felt that she would not be able to win against them. Hearing Ren Yao's words, the three people paused for a moment. Kong Feiqing was the first to react. He pointed at Ren Yao and said, "You are that abyss wave." "What bullshit abyss wave, that is just my little bug." The three people, that kind of strong abyss wave is actually just the opponent's little bug. Impossible, this is definitely impossible. Stop talking nonsense, let one person go, hurry up. My patience is not very good. Ren Yao shouted gravely. Time is pressing, stop talking nonsense. That will have to depend on whether you have the ability or not. Bao Xi shouted out angrily. After all, his son had died, and he is still in pain. My son is very outstanding, he is not someone that they can compare with. All of the star cannons could be seen aiming at Ren Yao. An astonishing aura was currently condensing, however, Ren Yao slowly stretched out her finger. A silver light could be seen shooting out from the tip of her finger, and a star cannon that had not condensed yet could be seen exploding, and the star cannon that had not condensed yet immediately exploded. The number of these star cannons was limited, and they were all left behind by the old ancestor. If there was one less star cannons, then there would really be one less star cannons. However, just like that, Ren Yao killed all of the star cannons one by one. Kong Feiqing and the other two were all stupefied. The defense of the star cannons is something that even overlords are unable to break, and this person is actually able to do it so easily. This is impossible. This is definitely impossible. End of this chapter. Chapter 921. This was a freaking fake. However, the last star cannon had finished assembling, and a silvery white energy shot towards Ren Yao. Seeing the last ray of hope shoot out, Pai Liangjun and the other two stared at the silvery white light wave. It was not that Kong Feiqing, was bragging, but even if the other party was a super Jizun, this cannon would still blast him into pieces. Moreover, it would be pieces that could not be pieced back together. Ren Yao looked at the incoming white light wave and did not put up any defense. Boom! When the white light wave came into contact with Ren Yao's body, a dazzling white light burst out, and a terrifying pressure engulfed the entire seabed. The seawater churned, and the city rumbled. All the residents hid in their homes, and they would never forget what happened today for the rest of their lives. This was simply a disaster day for Water City. He should be dead. Bao Xi said in a deep voice. Should be. Pai Liangjun was also unsure, and there was only dust in front of him. I can't even feel his aura, he should be blasted into pieces. Kong Feiqing said in a low voice, and his hands started to move behind his back, as if the crisis had been resolved. However, they seemed to have forgotten one thing, and that was that they couldn't feel Renyao's aura from the start. When the dust dispersed, a figure was still standing not far away. The three of them immediately froze, and if it was possible, their jaws would definitely have dropped to the ground, but they allowed it to happen. "He is actually fine," Bao Ci said in shock. That light wave actually didn't leave any mark on his body. This was impossible. The three of them looked at it with disbelief, and they even felt that this star cannon was fake. Renyao was someone who was able to receive 2 punches from Yi Zizi without any injuries. From this, it could be seen how powerful his defense was. The might of the star cannon was like a tickle to him. He was completely fine. Renyao extended his hand again, and extinguished the last star cannon, and then said indifferently, "If you still don't release him, I can only kill him. Release him. Release him. Release him." Kong Feiqing's words were unclear, and he only wanted to ask this ancestor to leave. However, some of the guards didn't know who to release. Kong Feiqing hurriedly asked, "Who do you want us to release?" "The one we caught today, his name is Yang Haotian, a man under general anesthesia," Renyao said calmly. She was full of vigor. This was a true guardian. The one just now was definitely a fake. "Quick! Quickly release that Yang Haotian!" Bao Ci shouted angrily. If he had known that this would happen, he would have released the star cannons earlier. Now that the star cannons were gone, the star cannons still had to be released. This was a complete loss. The gains did not make up for the losses. Humans were often like this. Only after trying would they know that it was too late for regrets. Just like these 3 Supremes, without the celestial cannons, it was equivalent to losing a layer of defense. Furthermore, it was the most crucial defense. If someone were to attack them, they would be in danger. Very soon, Yang Haotian was brought over. His entire body was still numb, and he could only move his eyes. Of course, he could still talk. "Hurry up and release him," Pai Liangjun shouted. The imperial bodyguard cautiously said, "You can't let him go." The 3 supreme martial artists, DUF** King want to die. Who exactly is the boss now? You actually said that you won't let us go. Could it be that you want to see us 3 Supremes die before you're willing to let us go? Hurry up and let go. Bao Ci shouted angrily. The 2 guards were so frightened that they immediately let go. However, as soon as he let go, the stiff Yang Haotian fell straight down, his nose hitting the ground hard. The 3 supreme martial artists were a little stupefied. How did he collapse just like that? At that time, he would think that they had hit him. What's going on? Kong Feiqing asked. He's been poisoned by bang hard poison, the imperial bodyguard said while trembling with fear. He had already said that he couldn't release the poison. The moment he released the poison, he collapsed. Hard poison. Pai Liangjun immediately knew that it was his 3rd brother's usual method. Luckily I have the antidote. Pai Liangjun took out a lump of yellow unknown object. The object carried a fishy smell, and the shape of the object was not pleasing to the eye, to the extent that it looked a bit like, cough, just a lick. Pai Liangjun said softly. There was even a look of concern in his eyes, giving people a different feeling, like an uncle holding a lollipop. Yang Haotian was speechless. Lick. Licking again. Is this how you and your father deceive others? Just now, I was poisoned because I licked the sword. I didn't expect you to let me lick it again. Do you think I, Yang Haotian, am an idiot? What kind of poison is it this time? No, it didn't look like it. Just by looking at its shape, it looked even more terrifying than bang hard poison. How dare you make me lick shit? F***ck me. Even more vicious. I won't lick it even if you beat me to death. Young man, don't doubt it. This is really the antidote. Just lick it and you'll be fine. Pai Liangjun said attentively. He noticed that the other party's eyes were filled with vigilance. He guessed that this was poison. However, it did look like poison, at least in the shape. But there was nothing he could do about it, it looked so weird. I won't lick it. You rotten old man, you're very bad. Yang Haotian would rather die than comply. As a man, how could he lick such a dirty thing? Pai Liangjun gave them a look, and Bao Xi and Kong Fei instantly understood. They immediately pressed Yang Haotian's head down and opened his mouth wide. This, is he trying to forcefully shove it in? How savage! Yang Haotian felt that he was about to be humiliated. In just one day, she had been humiliated so many times. She didn't expect to be humiliated by 3 men. It was the greatest humiliation of his life. Good child, just a lick will do. Pai Liangjun said with a strange smile. This caused Yang Haotian to almost collapse. What if * king good child? Who's your child? Scram. If I say I won't lick, then I won't lick. Pai Liangjun had no other choice but to directly shove it all into his mouth. Yang Haotian opened his eyes wide. He felt that a huge thing was squeezed into his mouth, and a fishy smell came out from it. I was actually forcefully opened by someone. Oh my god. Yang Haotian, the main character of the red packet system, swallowed this fishy and smelly thing today, and you even forced me to lick it. These shameless rotten old men. However, when Yang Haotian innocently licked it, he suddenly felt a clear current flowing within his body, it felt very comfortable. The hard feeling gradually disappeared, and unknowingly, Yang Haotian started licking it himself. So fragrant. Seeing that Yang Haotian was fine, Pai Liangjun snatched it over. This is a treasure, to actually let you lick it so many times. Yang Haotian looked at Pai Liangjun with a resentful expression. I was just happily licking it, and you actually shamelessly snatched it away, scoundrel. Bao Xi said respectfully. Gongzi, someone is here to pick you up, you should quickly leave with him. Yang Haotian took a look at Ren Yao, then said solemnly, who is this? I don't know him, I'm not going. The 3 overlords. Pai Liangjun squeezed out a trace of a smile. Child, don't mess around, be good, your father is here to pick you up. Chapter 922. Whoever wants to be the sun can go, you lunatic. Yang Haotian rolled his eyes. I was already very unlucky, but I didn't expect to run into another tiger's den. The 3 supremes almost kneeled down. Great hero, just leave, don't waste time, or else that androgynous baldy is going to start killing people. Young man, this person is here to save you. Kong Feiqing almost wanted to make a move. I have never seen such a person who would rather be locked up than go out. He looks so ugly, with just a look, I can tell that he is a bad person. How could he possibly be here to save me? You all want to lie to me, how is that possible? Young hero, you can't say things like that, it is too rude. That's right, you can't judge a person by their appearance. You can't label someone as a bad person just because they are ugly, unless they are really ugly. Yang Haotian said in a low voice, but I really feel that they are really ugly. After hearing that, the 3 supremes silently nodded their heads. That's why I have decided to stay here for a long time. Big brother. Can't I just call you big brother? Even if they are bad people, you still have to go, if not we are going to be screwed. Kong Feiqing couldn't care so much anymore, he had already called him big brother. Yang Haotian indeed felt that that person was very scary, that's why he didn't go, he wasn't joking. It could be said that if he went there, he would definitely be screwed. At least over here, there would still be food to eat. Ren Yao let out a deep sigh. I can only use the backup plan. Renyao could be heard shouting, "It was Schwanger who told me to come and save you." Hearing that it was Schwanger, Yang Haotian immediately became spirited. My red packet is still on Schwanger's butt. Actually, I feel that ugly people have a good heart, just like him. Bye-bye. After Yang Haotian finished speaking, he flew towards Renyao. After seeing that the little ancestor had left, the three supremes finally felt relieved. Yang Haotian looked at Renyao who was in front of him and said with a smile, "Brother, did Schwanger really tell you to come and call me? Do you think that I wanted to come? That is a group of vicious women." Yang Haotian's expression became more and more shocked, then he grabbed onto Renyao's shoulder. "I also feel that way. That is a group of vicious women, they tortured me to death. They're all unfortunate people." Yang Haotian and Renyao took a deep breath and exhaled helplessly. Since they couldn't resist, they could only enjoy the thrashing. However, after Renyao left, she turned around and said, "If you dare call me ugly again, I'll kill you. I'll King kill all of you. My hair just hasn't grown out yet." The immense pressure caused the three supreme beings to kneel down. They were so frightened that they hurriedly spoke up. This person was actually so powerful and terrifying. Fortunately, he did not resist just now. If he had resisted, he would definitely have died. God bless my water city. The things left behind by the old ancestor were indeed very powerful. Yang Haotian sensed Renyao's strength and was also very surprised. "Brother, are you really that strong? We can work together." Yang Haotian felt that there was a way. He would definitely be able to kidnap those vicious women and get the red packet for himself. Renyao sighed, "Little brother, please dispel this crazy idea of yours. I still want to breathe fresh air. I won't accompany you to die. I'm just joking, look at how serious you are." Seriously, they are so kind, they are all good people. I, Yang Haotian, am also extremely happy to be able to accompany them. Yang Haotian immediately started bootlicking, because when he saw the beautiful figure that was not far away, he was so scared that even his soul was trembling. Not only Yang Haotian, Renyao was also the same. Qin Yutong was waiting for the two not far away. "Lu Dan, you're pretty fast, huh?" "Huh, it's nothing." Renyao had no choice but to submit to Qin Yutong. Yang Haotian immediately shouted, "Big sister, you came to save me, I'm too happy." After finished speaking, Yang Haotian went to hug Qin Yutong's thigh. Qin Yutong kicked Yang Haotian away. "Stop wasting time, get on the boat." Yang Haotian grinned, "Get on the boat, get on the boat, big sister, where are we going?" "We are going to a fun place, Lu Dan, follow me." Sigh, "All right." Renyao followed behind helplessly, and the three rushed towards the boat. On the sea's surface, the boat was still there, just that it had changed from day to night. After the three landed on the boat, Yang Haotian immediately shouted, "Schwanger, I'm back." A murderous aura rang out within the boat. "If you dare to call me Schwanger again, I'll beat the shit out of you with a punch." "All right." Yang Haotian immediately cowered. Qin Yutong walked into the cabin of the boat, and the two followed behind, just like attendants. Just that, Yang Haotian was a lot weaker than Renyao. "Yutong, where are we going next?" Brett asked curiously. "Today's day is rather interesting, it's fun." Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. "How about we go to his empire to play first? After that, we'll make plans." "This idea is not bad, let's go then." Kai Yun immediately agreed. In any case, playing is just playing. In actuality, Yang Haotian really wanted to say, "I'm the emperor after all. Did you all ask for my opinion just like that? You all are simply too overbearing, my mother doesn't want me to play with you all anymore." The troublemaker group of 5 didn't stop causing trouble, and they were completely unable to stop. In the end, they finally pierced through the sky, and there was no way for them to clean up the mess. However, at a small village in the northwest of Wushu Empire. At this time, every household was warming themselves up at home, and outside, snow was falling from the sky. At this time, the temperature outside was -10+°C. Suddenly, a series of strange footsteps rang out, especially the sound of the footsteps stepping onto the snowy ground. It seemed especially gloomy and cold. The faint light that floated out from the window illuminated the figure, and the figure's shadow was projected onto the wall at the side. The figure was a black-robed man who was holding onto a sickle. This was precisely Death Mage. All of the scripts have been arranged, and this was also the first scene. Male lead, Death Mage guest, Yi Hua screenwriter, Mu Ran lines, improvisation. Death Mage expressed that this was the first time that he did such a thing, and furthermore, it was the male lead, so he was a bit reserved and embarrassed. It doesn't seem appropriate to scare people out of their beds in the middle of the night. After all, I, Death Mage, am a young man with good qualities. Therefore, Death Mage didn't plan to knock on the door anymore, and he raised the sickle in his hand high up. Summon evil spirits. Death Mage shouted out in anger, and countless evil spirits flew into the 100 households. In an instant, wails rang out in the entire village. Everyone was chased to the plaza in the middle by the evil spirits, and there were even some people who didn't even wear their clothes and were shivering from the cold. Countless evil spirits hovered in the air, and everyone obediently kneeled on the snowy ground, and their faces were pale white from fright. Some children hid within their parents' embrace, not daring to look at the evil spirits, and some children who were more courageous secretly looked at the evil spirits. Slowly, Death Mage's figure appeared in front of everyone, and when everyone saw that it was an undead, despair appeared on their faces. Chapter 9:23. Even children would start crying when they saw the undead. Because even children knew that the undead clan was evil and would commit all kinds of evil. The parents of the children immediately covered their children's mouths, and the square was filled with muffled cries. Death Mage was very depressed. It is so hard to be the male lead. Why doesn't his honor come and be the male lead? Furthermore, he is a bad male lead. It was a good thing that Death Mage's expression could not be changed. Just by looking at his skeletal face, he would be able to scare people to death. GGG, Royal Translation, you all will become my sacrificial offerings, ha ha ha. After he finished speaking, Death Mage felt that his lines were too weak. It was not shocking at all. The translation job was still assigned to the evil spirits circling in the sky. Lowly human. You will all become sacrifices for the great undead clan. You will feel extremely honored and give up your lowly lives for the great undead clan. Death Mage, F***ck me. Was that what I said? To actually translate it so incisively, this is so embarrassing. I reckon that his honor is probably laughing at me right now. How embarrassing. Look at how this evil spirit speaks better than me. It looks like I'll have to learn how to speak from Sun Fong when I get back. The village chief stood up at this moment, his aged face revealing a fearless expression. We will not yield to the undead clan, children. My fellow countrymen. Stand up, we will not bow our heads to the undead. Yes. We will not yield. That's right. We will fight to the end. Brothers, pick up your hoes and fight it to the death. Over 100 people were already shouting. Their morale had indeed increased by quite a bit. Although Death Mage's eloquence was not good, his might was still there. The death scythe in his hand stabbed into the ground, causing a wild gale to blow. The powerful might caused everyone to feel shocked, and they once again knelt on the ground. Some people even coughed up blood. Without waiting for Death Mage to speak, the evil spirit had already started to forcefully add on his lines. Lowly humans, how dare you anger the great undead race? You will become the most miserable sacrifices, and your souls will never be redeemed. Death Mage felt that there was no need for him to speak anymore, and let these evil spirits speak for him. It was a little sad. Everyone began to pray to the heavens, asking the gods to come and save their believers and crush the evil in front of them. However, just as everyone was praying, a golden light flashed across the dark sky. Everyone was stupefied. I didn't expect that our prayers would instantly be arranged by the heavens. The gods didn't abandon us, there's still hope. The golden radiance of the night slowly descended, and everyone discovered that it was a golden armor that was emitting out a holy radiance. Even the gods didn't have such an imposing manner. There was finally hope. However, when the golden armor completely landed on the ground, everyone was stupefied. This isn't a god at all. It's another undead. My God, are you trying to play me to death? They are on the same side. The heavens want to destroy the human race. The one who was wearing the golden armor was naturally Yihua. Staying in the imperial palace is too boring, and coming out to have some fun is quite interesting. Acting with my subordinates is quite fun. However, this idiot Death Mage doesn't even know how to speak. Look at how well that evil spirit knows how to speak. This time, when I return, I have to ask Sun Fong to properly teach Death Mage. Look at me, I have never gambled, I don't drink or smoke, I am simply the best man in the world. For Qingye and Donghuang Baiji to be able to find a man like me, it is their good fortune that they have cultivated for several lifetimes. However, Yihua discovered that these people were not moved at all when he descended from the sky. Instead, they looked as if they were going to die. GGG. Imperial Translation, who are you? Evil Spirit, who are you, you bastard? Death Mage, Your Honor, this is not what I said, you know what I mean, these are all the lines that those evil spirits added themselves. When Yihua heard those evil spirits actually called him a bastard, they are truly going against the heavens. This bastard is something that only my woman can do. If anyone else dares to scold me, I will kill them all. Yihua could be seen stretching out his bone palm and grabbing the air. The evil spirit that was scolding Yihua a bastard just now immediately exploded in the air. Everyone was stupefied. What is going on? Aren't they supposed to be together? Yihua took out his own great sword, which was similarly shining with golden light. I am the embodiment of justice. You damned undead, to actually want to harm innocent humans, I will never forgive you. Along with Yihua's words, an unparalleled aura emitted out from his entire body, causing everyone to be stupefied. This undead. What a sense of justice. The evil spirit started speaking again, you scum of the undead, to actually harm your own kind, all for these lowly humans. Great Mage, quickly grant him death, let him know that the dignity of the undead is not to be violated. Death Mage was in despair. Why is the evil spirit that I summoned so outstanding? Did you all care about my feelings? He is my boss's boss. Yihua felt that this evil spirit's acting skills were not bad. Look at this Death Mage, he is just like a fool, he is just standing there stupidly. Yihua raised his great sword and pointed it at Death Mage, then shouted out, you are the scum of the undead. The undead are a race that yearns for peace, and it is precisely because of you people that the reputation of my undead is ruined. Today, I will let you have a taste of my great sword. After Yihua finished speaking, he held onto his great sword and leaped high into the air. A ray of red light flashed past Death Mage's eyes. This is my first time fighting with his honor. This is an unparalleled honor, an unparalleled honor. Holding onto the scythe of death, Death Mage raised both of his hands above his head. Clang! A terrifying aura was emitted out. Yihua shouted out gravely, go out and fight, do not harm the innocent. GGG Imperial Translation, as you wish. After finished speaking, the two disappeared into the night sky. However, not long after, a magnificent scene of an explosion blossomed not far away from them, causing the villagers to be dumbstruck. They are so strong. I wonder who will win. I hope that it will be that righteous undead. If it is that evil undead, I will definitely have to die. Meanwhile, not far away from them, Yihua was standing with his hands behind his back, while Death Mage was throwing magic around at the side. A fireball spell was thrown here, and a lightning spell was thrown there, creating the scene of a battle. Death Mage, you need to practice your eloquence a bit more. Yihua said faintly. GGG, Imperial Translation, I will solemnly obey your decree. Also, when you are acting, you have to put yourself into it. Even if you only know how to shout out GGG, you also have to pay attention to the tone of GGG, fluctuate up and down, only then will you be able to act out your inner thoughts, understand? Death Mage didn't understand what Yihua meant. GGG, Imperial Translation, subordinate understands. Chapter 924. Death Mage continued to throw out magic that caused a huge explosion, causing the surroundings to be charred on the outside and tender on the inside. The commoners in the village were all scared to the point that they were trembling in fear. This is too terrifying. These two undead are actually opponents. This is simply subverting their understanding of the undead. Gradually, the sound of the explosion stopped. Everyone began to feel nervous. Who had won? Hopefully, it would be the righteous undead. If it was that black-robed undead, he would definitely be finished. The lives of the entire village would be in their hands. Everyone began to pray to the heavens that the golden undead would win. When a golden figure flew over, everyone was excited. They were so excited that they hugged each other. The heavens had not abandoned them. The undead had won. The armor on Yihua's body could be seen to be a bit tattered. I'm acting after all. Of course, props have to be used. Only then will it be able to fully show that I, the Supreme Overlord, had just gone through an extremely tragic battle. Humans, aren't you all going to be moved? Thank you for saving us. Tears streamed down the village chief's face as he knelt on the ground in worship. Seeing that even the village chief was worshipping, the others also began to worship. They would never have imagined that they would be worshipping an undead. But this undead had saved their lives, so he deserved this bow. Yihua felt that the atmosphere was very good. This is the feeling that my plan is being implemented step by step. All of you, get up, there is no need to be like this. Yihua said gravely, and his tone seemed to still be a bit weak, just like he had just won the battle with great difficulty. Thank you for saving our entire village, the village chief shouted gratefully. I'm helping the people get rid of evil. Among the mutated tribes, there are good and bad people. That undead just now was one of the bad ones. They killed innocents for their own selfish desires. I will take care of these scum bit by bit. We can't let these people ruin the reputation of the non-humankind. After hearing Yihua's words, everyone felt that what Yihua said was reasonable. Even among humans, there were good and bad people, and it should be the same for other races as well. Just like this undead, I feel that he is a good person. It seems like the first impression that Yihua gives others is that he is a good person. However, he was actually very bad. He cheated in all kinds of ways, even his wife. It was not too much to call him a scumbag. This hero is right. No matter the race, there will always be good and bad. The village chief said respectfully. If it was possible, he should spread this story around and let everyone know that not everyone in the foreign races was a bad person. After hearing that, Yihua felt that this old man was not bad and was a respectable person. It's very dangerous for you all to stay here. Why don't you all go to Voidless Empire? There are all sorts of benefits there, and as long as you are willing to work, you all will be able to support yourselves. Hero, we are already used to living here, if we were to suddenly move? I'm afraid, Yihua said faintly, the safety of Voidless Empire can be guaranteed, but if you all continue to stay here, what should you all do if you run into that matter from earlier again? After all, it is impossible for me to protect you all every single day. The village chief felt that what Yihua said was very right. If those bad fellows were to come again, what should we do? At that time, everyone would have to die. You guys, think about it. Voidless Empire is able to protect your safety. Such a thing like this will never happen in Voidless Empire. After finished speaking, Yihua disappeared from where he was, not waiting for them to make a decision. Only when he left would they feel afraid. Village chief, I feel that we should still go to Void Empire. A middle-aged woman said. That's right, village chief, if that bad fellow were to come back again, we wouldn't be able to do anything at all. Indeed, now that all the heroes have left, we have to quickly make a decision. Then, let us go and have a meeting right now. The village chief didn't say anything else. Everyone's worries are right, if there is really a need, we should still move to Voidless Empire. At this moment, Yihua returned to the palace. The fun he had just now was rather interesting, and he still has to continue. This is truly too interesting. Yihua, where did you go just now? Qingye suddenly asked at the side. These few days, Yihua has been acting sneakily, as if he had been doing something bad. Yihua shouted towards Daji, brew a cup of tea for me. All right, master, do you need to wash your feet? Daji asked obediently. Sure, soak my feet. Yihua sat on the chair with a comfortable expression on his face. I am asking you, Yihua. Qingye sat beside Yihua and shook Yihua's shoulders with both of her hands. I didn't play much, I just went out for a walk. Yihua said faintly. Donghuang Baiji walked over from the side. Yihua, you are an emperor, and you let us do everything for you. Qingye and I have to deal with a lot of things all day long, and you just go out and play, don't you feel sorry for us? Sigh, Yihua didn't expect that there would be so many things to deal with when creating an empire, just looking at it gives me a headache. Right now, I can only console them properly. Yihua carried Qingye and Donghuang Baiji in his embrace. You two have worked hard, continue to work hard in the future. Qingye, Donghuang Baiji, tell us first, what have you been doing during this period of time? Donghuang Baiji asked. It's nothing much, I was just planning for the matter of humans and other races coexisting peacefully. Isn't that more important, so? I am also very tired. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji looked at Yihua from the corner of their eyes. I feel that this is so fake, he definitely went out to play sneakily and purposely found an excuse. The two women looked at each other and seemed to have their own thoughts. Thus, they didn't ask too much. Very quickly, Daji came over with water to wash Yihua's feet and placed it beside Yihua's feet. Master, let Daji help you wash your feet. Daji said respectfully. After all, even your wife is here. Yihua, who was in a good mood, allowed Daji to do so. Daji, on the other hand, was very excited. She immediately helped Yihua to put on a pair of slippers, then lightly placed Yihua's feet into the hot water and lightly rubbed them. It feels so good. This is the first time I have come into contact with my master's holy body, and Daji's face turned completely red. My God! I have finally come into contact with my master's body. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji rolled their eyes at Yihua. Count this as a benefit for you, but at most, you will only be able to wash Yihua's feet, don't even think about anything else. After taking a bath, Yihua hugged onto his two wives and said with a smile, Come, let's go to sleep. If you want to go, you can go by yourself, we still have to work. Qingye still doesn't know Yihua's character. How can work be more important than sleeping? I am going to properly criticize the two of you, I will continue to work tomorrow. Yihua reprimanded with a stern face. Later on, he was going to use domestic violence. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were suffering. How could the two delicate wives be Yihua's opponent? Domestic violence was currently in progress. For the next few days, Yihua and Death Mage continued to put on a show, and more people began to sing praises of the undead. End of this chapter. Chapter 925. However, today, Yihua planned to play the role of a bad guy and enjoy the feeling of being a bad guy. Speaking of which, I, the Supreme Overlord, have not been a bad person for many years. I am truly a bit ashamed. Looking at the few hundred people in front of him who were kneeling on the ground, Yihua suddenly felt great in his heart. I really want to snap my fingers and turn all of them into blood-red bubbles that will fly in the air. That kind of feeling should be very pleasurable. It was simply not a normal kind of pleasurable. Yihua's thoughts immediately returned back to that time when he killed the innocent. However, very quickly, he adjusted himself. Forget about what happened back then. I, the Supreme Overlord, have already washed my hands of life. But then again, shouldn't it be Death Mage's turn to go up? Where is he? Did he fall asleep? That idiot. However, right now, Death Mage was not asleep. Instead, he was kneeling on the ground and shivering. Because there were two women standing in front of him. His wife. Your Honor, I'm going to be exposed. Your wife is here. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were finally unable to take it anymore. Our man leaves the house early in the morning and returns late at night. Could it be that he is learning from others and keeping a mistress outside? After observing Death Mage for the past few days, he discovered that Death Mage was the same as well. Thus, he decided to tail Death Mage. Yihua did not see Death Mage, but he saw Death Mage. Where is His Honor? Qingye asked gravely. Death Mage was about to pee in his pants. Could it be that I have to say that His Honor is currently acting as the bad guy? Kakik. Donghuang Baizhi rolled her eyes. Speak human language. Kakik. Imperial translation, Madam, I don't know how to speak human language. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi naturally knew that Death Mage couldn't speak the human language. However, right now, I am even more curious about where did Yihua go. For him to be acting so mysteriously, he is definitely not doing anything good. This bastard bullied the two of us at night and even made us work during the day while he ran out to have fun. This is simply infuriating. He didn't care about his wife at all. She was so angry that she was about to cry. Hurry up and speak, use your phone to type. Donghuang Baizhi was very angry. These two are definitely covering up for each other. How would Death Mage dare to do such a thing? Thus, he lowered his head and remained silent. Even if you beat him to death, I won't betray His Honor. Qingye, there seems to be a village over there. Donghuang Baizhi looked towards the distance. Qingye also looked over. Indeed, there were still a lot of people standing on the plaza. Let's go and take a look. Qingye said gravely. Death Mage hurriedly stood up. Looking at Death Mage's action, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi wanted to go and take a look even more, and in an instant, Qingye disappeared from where she was standing. However, on the plaza, Yihua was still acting cool. You lowly humans. To be able to become my slave is a blessing that you've accumulated in your previous life. Don't expect anyone to come and save you. Even if someone comes, I'll crush them and roast them on charcoal. Moreover, I'll roast them until they're so burnt that even dogs won't eat them. The moment Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi came over, they heard those words. Their beautiful eyes immediately froze. Why is there an undead here as well? Also, why is the way he speaks so similar to my man? Yihua's heart thumped. He had a bad feeling about this. However, when the man who was kneeling on the ground saw the two women appear, his originally lifeless eyes lit up with hope. These two beauties were so beautiful. They must be fairies, fairies sent by the heavens. They knew that he was in danger, so they made such arrangements. Goddess, save me! Ah, Goddess, save us, we're going to be fried by him. Sister, save us. He's so bad. Yihua, why is it not Death Mage who appeared, but my wife instead? What am I supposed to do? They still don't know who I am. Luckily, they shouldn't suspect me. Who are you? Qinya asked coldly. Donghuang Baiji looked at the skeleton vigilantly. Right now, Yihua's back was facing his wife, and he was currently thinking of how to coax them away. These two women, they really came to spoil my plans. When I return home tonight, I'm going to spank my butt until it's swollen. Yihua could be seen slowly turning around, and his pair of empty eye sockets looked towards Qinya and Donghuang Baiji. I'm someone you can't afford to offend. Yihua felt that it was very interesting to act cool in front of his wife. Hearing Yihua's words, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji went into a daze. It has been a long time since someone dared to speak to me like this. Because those who dared to speak to me like this did not have a good ending, and all of them were wiped off by my man. However, today, there was a skeleton that dared to speak to me like this. He is simply courting death. Yihua felt that something was amiss. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji are acting a bit strange. I didn't even scold you two. Is there a need for you two to show such a face? I dare you to say that one more time. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji landed down from the sky and glared at Yihua angrily. It seemed like they would start a fight if Yihua didn't like what Yihua said. These two women are getting arrogant to actually dare to speak to me like this. They are truly asking for a beating. You two women, if you are tactful, then hurry up and scram. Don't disturb me while I am killing people here. Yihua shouted out coldly. The best result would be to scare the two of them away. However, were Qinya and Donghuang Baiji people that could be scared away? What kind of big scene had they not seen with Yihua before? This is just a small skeleton, and yet, it actually dares to be so arrogant. Being shouted at by a skeleton once again, Qinya and Donghuang Baiji felt a bit uncomfortable. The main thing was that they had been living comfortably, and now, a skeleton suddenly popped out and acted so arrogantly. For a moment, they didn't know what to say. Do you know who I am? Qinya shouted out. Yihua nearly collapsed from laughing. You women, at such a crucial moment, you still have to bring me out. I don't know. Yihua said faintly. Qinya was very angry and shouted out loudly, I am. Before Qinya could finish speaking, Donghuang Baiji covered Qinya's mouth. Don't say it out loud, if not, other people would think that we are relying on our men. Qinya became muddle-headed from anger. She habitually brought out her own man and forgot that she was also a very formidable woman. Yihua was indeed enduring it. These two women are truly too adorable. Other people always talk about the 7-year itch my ass. I am starting to like them more and more. They are truly mischievous. Today, I shall just tease them a little. Who are you? Even if you are the woman of the emperor, I would still dare to beat you up. Yihua was very arrogant. In any case, Qinya had never seen someone as arrogant as Yihua. Donghuang Baiji appeared to be rather calm. If you knew, you definitely wouldn't have said such a thing. I know that your backer is very formidable, and he is definitely a handsome and confident man. Furthermore, he is also very ambitious, and he has a grand ambition. That kind of excellence is something that no one can compare to. After praising himself, Yihua looked towards the sky at a 45 degrees angle, seemingly like he was sighing at how outstanding he was. End of this chapter. Chapter 926. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji stared blankly at the skeleton. This is simply, he is too similar to Yi Hua, he is simply an extremely narcissistic maniac. You won't understand me. I was just talking about myself. Don't misunderstand. Yi Hua rubbed his head out of conditioned reflex, and suddenly discovered that, right now, he seemed to be bald, the kind that doesn't have any hair. Balding, Dong Huang Baiji felt that she was being looked down upon. It's fine if she was being looked down upon, but I am Yi Hua's wife, and I can't let this matter rest just like this. All right. Since that's the case, we can only compete with each other. Dong Huang Baiji was not afraid. No matter what, she was an empress in the past, and her imposing manner was extremely powerful. Yi Hua didn't have a good feeling about this. Am I really going to fight? This wife hitting her husband, you guys are simply too arrogant. I won't lower myself to the same level as a woman. Yi Hua said in disdain. Hee, I think you are just a piece of trash. Qinya shouted coldly, and a ribbon suddenly condensed out from her body. The ribbon was emitting a blue radiance, and it looked very gentle. The corner of Yi Hua's mouth twitched. This is the weapon that I gave to Qinya, and the weapon that I gave to my wife is naturally the most formidable one. Sun chasing 3 pure ones. It was a top-notch primordial divine weapon. Although it looked like a soft ribbon, being whipped by it could cause one's soul to tremble. In fact, it even had a passive skill, soul burn. In any case, being whipped by it would definitely make one feel good from head to toe. Qinya's strength isn't weak. Although she is a bit weaker than me, this 3 clear ones chasing sun is still my nemesis. This 3 clear ones chasing sun is a soul attack weapon. Although it won't be able to injure me, if I get hit by it, I will definitely roll my eyes. Back then, he had given it to Qinya so that she could protect herself. He had never expected that it would be used against him. This shameless Qinya, I am your husband, and you actually used this kind of thing to slap me. Do you believe that I will slap you tonight? Seeing that the skeleton had a slightly fearful look on its face, Qinya snorted, now that you know fear, kneel down and call me grandma, I will give you a quick death. Yi Hua. Great aunt, last night, the 2 of you were still calling me, that, could it be that the 2 of you have forgotten? A vile person intoxicated by success. Yi Hua snorted. Dong Huang Baiji shouted out, and a sword appeared in her hand. Yi Hua felt like covering his head. These 2 women have cheated me of quite a lot of things, especially when they are flirting on the bed. For example, hubby, I want to just give me a little. No one could stop these 2 women from acting coquettishly. As for this sword, its name was Destiny Seeker. The name sounded very romantic, but that was impossible. There was no such thing as a desolate era divine weapon. Even if this sword was giving off a pink glow, it would give off a feeling of love. But if you know, the specialty of this sword is that it asks fate, commonly known as follow fate sword technique. The biggest characteristic of the random fate sword technique is fate. It was like a sword stabbing over. If it was determined to be fated, no matter how one dodged, it would be useless. In any case, it would be stabbed. In the beginning, Dong Huang Baiji felt that it looked good, and thus, she chose this one fun. Yi Hua expressed that he didn't mind. After all, this one fun is not going to be used to deal with me. But now, both of them had taken it out. It was simply shameless. You guys took my things and went against me. How can you be my wife? When I return this time, I will definitely punish you guys. I will let you guys know that hitting your husband is wrong. Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji took out their weapons, causing the villagers to cheer. These 2 beauties were experts with just a look, and they were scared to the point that they peed in their pants. Hee, if you have the ability, let's compete with our fists. Yi Hua said in disdain. However, Qinya and Dong Huang Baiji were not that stupid. A set of armor suddenly condensed on their bodies. This caused Yihua to want to cry. These are all things that I gave them to save their lives. Today, I have really kicked an iron board. Should I be a coward? On Qinya's delicate body, a set of aqua blue armor condensed, perfectly matching with the blue ribbon. Her entire person looked very beautiful, simply to the point of being unbelievably beautiful, indescribable with words. This set of armor was also one of Yihua's trump cards. Its name was Qi Shao. It was able to be immune to spells. Just based on this point, it was able to restrain me. Even if I were to throw a spell at it, although it would not be able to achieve true immunity, the power of the spell would definitely be weakened. And the immunity to spells was just one of the effects, there was also the ability to reflect damage from spells. This Qinya, when I return this time, I will make sure that you won't be able to get out of bed for a week. It is useless even if you beg me, and it is useless even if you cry. Other than reflecting damage from spells, there was also set attribute. That's right. It didn't exist at first, but it was added by me. When 3 clear ones is paired with Qi Shao, the set effect that will be triggered will be the weakening of the enemy's fighting strength. This was all an idea that I came up with to protect my beloved wife, but in the end, second, the effect of all skills will be doubled. This is simply greatly weakening my fighting strength. This is the equipment of a nouveau riche, an equipment that can't even be bought with money. Third, set skill, lawless. Yihua was helpless about this skill. It was a passive skill. Just from the name alone, one could tell that it would allow you to be lawless and increase your fighting strength for an hour. In any case, Qinya's set of equipment would definitely be able to completely restrain me. I must have been blind to give Qinya this set of equipment back then. Meanwhile, the armor that Donghuang Baiji was wearing was even more awesome. Its entire body was emitting out a golden white light, and it looked very sacred and inviolable. However, I have decided that tonight, I will properly violate you all from head to toe. This set of armor is called Benevolent Underworld Immortal. It has a very overpowered passive skill. Heal. And it is an automatic heal. As long as you are in the middle of a battle, even if you are injured, the armor will be able to slowly heal you. Furthermore, it is an AoE heal. Of course, the AoE heal is just one of the features of the armor. There is another feature that is even more awesome, and that is buff. That's right, this kind of buff is also an AoE. In the past, Yihua felt that Donghuang Baiji liked to fight with soldiers, so he specially gave her such a good thing. In the end, I never would have thought that she would use it against me first. What is after the buff is added? Benevolent Underworld Immortal. Underworld and Immortal seem to be conflicting, but when combined with this set of armor, the level of defense that this set of armor has become extremely overpowered. It is the same for magic defense as well. Although it is not as immune to magic like Qinya's, the overall effect of this set of armor is rather strong. Furthermore, when Fengming and Benevolent Underworld Immortal also have set effects, the chances of triggering random sword technique, the chances of triggering top-notch buffs, and the chances of triggering full recovery are greatly increased. Don't look down on these 3 things. If you are lucky, you will be unkillable. End of this chapter. Chapter 927. These 2 women are way too daring to actually show off such an awesome acting cool in front of a little skeleton. They are simply flaunting themselves, commonly known as acting cool. I wonder who they learned from, to actually like acting cool so much. When I return, I must have a good talk with them. With such equipment, do I look like a boss? Everyone says that I am a good person. I swear, when I return tonight, I am going to spank their little butts. Because I am going to get beaten up very soon. What? Why do you think I am going to get beaten up? Could it be that you want me to spank my wife later? Do I look like that kind of person who would spank his wife? Obviously not. I never spank my wife. Firstly, I can't bear to, and secondly, what if my wife cries after being beaten up? Wouldn't I have to go and coax my wife? In the end, I would still be the one at a disadvantage. But I can't just admit defeat, right? Fortunately, I still have some cards up my sleeves. There are still quite a few good fellows. Evil thief, hurry up and surrender. Dong Huang Baiji pointed her sword at Yi Hua. Damn it. Empress, you are really something, to actually point your sword at your husband. Just you wait, if I don't beat you to death tonight, you are too arrogant. Qinya shouted out coldly, evil thief, today, we will let you have a taste of our methods. We will beat you until you can't even stand up. Yi Hua, good fellow, you guys are awesome. I swear once again, for the next 1 month, you guys can spend your time on the bed. I will let you guys cry for your parents. All right. Today, I will let you guys know what is called power. Yi Hua shouted out. If you want to fight, then come at me. Whoever is a coward is a grandson. Just what we want, let's change to another place. All right. After speaking, the three disappeared from where they were standing. The commoners were all dumbstruck. They really started fighting just like that. Shouldn't they say something to each other? This is a bit too sloppy. The three immediately moved to a desolate and uninhabited place. This place was a world of ice and snow, the sky was gloomy, and the cold wind was whistling, bringing along bone-piercing coldness. However, this kind of coldness was nothing to the three of them. That's right, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji wanted to kill Yi Hua. Thinking about it, Yu Tong is still the most obedient. These two are truly too mischievous. Today, I must teach them a good lesson. At this moment, Death Mage had also arrived not too far away. It's over. His Honor and your wife are fighting, what should I do? Should I call someone over to stop the fight? He still had to call for help. Thus, Death Mage immediately called for his wife, Sun Fang. What it meant was, His Honor is hitting your wife, quickly come and stop the fight. At Voidless Empire, Sun Fang was currently lying on a rocking chair and reading a book when she suddenly received Death Mage's message. He immediately sat up. What? His Honor hit your wife. Look. Holy shit. Sun Fang felt that she was about to rush over, but she suddenly stopped. This. Should I call my good sisters over as well? Sun Fang's good sister was Tang Wei. Because the two of them were in the same boat, she had a man but couldn't enjoy the happiness of being a woman. Tang Wei received a message from Sun Fang. Astonishment filled his heart. His Honor hit his wife. Oh my God. It was too cruel. You want us to go and watch the show? No. I have to inform Uncle Wei. Tang Wei immediately informed Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei was shocked. His Honor actually hit his wife in broad daylight. And he even asked us subordinates to go and watch the show. Oh my God. His Honor is so awesome. Wei Chang immediately informed all of his subordinates. Everyone was stupefied. His Honor hit his wife, and he even asked us to go and watch the show. What is the meaning of this? Is this saying that His Honor even dares to hit his wife, let alone his subordinates? His Honor is so cruel, he even asked his subordinates to go and watch the show when he hit his wife, so perverted. Death Mage's message was misunderstood layer by layer, from stopping the fight to watching the show, and then from watching the show to domestic violence and letting his subordinates watch. All of Death Mage's subordinates immediately rushed over to Death Mage's location. However, Yi Hua still didn't know what was going on, and he was currently thinking about how he should teach these two mischievous wives a lesson. However, since you two acted cool in front of me just now, I will have to act cool in return. Who asked me to be the act cool king? What? Do you want to fight with us empty-handed? We won't kill trash like you who doesn't have any equipment. Chinya snorted, looking very tsundere. Yihua, damn it, how many times have you two scolded me as trash today? Seems like I have doted on you two too much, causing you two to become very arrogant. If you two want equipment, I will grant you two your wish. Today, I will defeat you two and make you two my slaves. I will tie you two up on the bed and humiliate you two. Yihua decided that when he returned home tonight, he would do an Asian bondage. Upon hearing that, Chinya and Donghuang Baiji were both ashamed and angry. Hi, Chinya, swear that I will break your bones into pieces, then throw them into Wushu Empire's smelly ditch until they rot. Chinya was really angry. The other party actually has such a crazy idea. Don't they know that I am Yihua's woman? If that jealous king were to hear what Chinya said, he would definitely flip out. When Yihua heard Chinya scolding, he became so angry that he actually wanted to throw me into the sewers. Sure. You two are awesome. Wait for me to choose a set of equipment first. Yihua could be seen choosing a set of armor first. It was a gray armor that had a red pattern on it. The red pattern was flowing like fresh blood, making one's hair stand on end. Guanchang. A rather awesome prehistoric artifact. Passive effect, lowers a female's fighting strength, causing the female's body to become soft. When the female's opponent receives damage, there is a certain chance that the female's opponent will be paralyzed for 1 second. Don't look down on the fact that it is only 1 second. To an expert, a lot of things can be done in 1 second. Of course, the defensive power of the armor was rather awesome as well. Yihua thought to himself, the person who created this armor is definitely a pitiful person. How much does he hate his wife? As expected, when the armor appeared, Chinya and Donghuang Baiji immediately felt that their aura was being suppressed, and they even felt that their bodies were becoming a bit soft and a bit sleepy. Yihua also found a weapon that could restrain them. Plum Blossom Club. Although the name is a bit tacky, this big and thick club has an automatic shrinking function. Looking at the body of the club, there are even some plum blossom imprints on it. It looks very gaudy. However, these are not the main point. This plum blossom club has a useful passive effect. To be precise, it is a bit strange. As long as one is touched by the club, one would feel a kind of numb feeling. Although this plum blossom club is not a top-notch prehistoric artifact, its passive effect is simply unrivaled. Look at how good I am to you two. Even now, I am still thinking about your comfort. I have it easy, I work diligently every day to make you two feel good. Yet, the next day, you two still say that I am bullying you two. You two are simply shameless. Look at you two, all of you are using killing moves. End of this chapter. Chapter 928. Today, I am going to use this stick to teach you all a lesson. My dignity is not to be trampled on. Just as Yihua was about to start beating his wife, he suddenly felt a huge aura coming over. When Yihua saw the huge aura, the corner of his mouth twitched. Damn it! I am about to start beating my wife, why did these subordinates come over? Are they here to watch a show? They definitely are. It must be Death Mage who called them over. F***K me. Death Mage, I let you be the male lead, and this is how you repay me. Right now, Death Mage had a stupefied look on his face. Why are all of them here? This isn't right. Death Mage hurriedly pulled Sun Fong to the side, then began making hand gestures. Didn't you tell me to call them over to watch a show? Sun Fong asked curiously. Watch your sister's show, this is His Honor's family matter, and you still called so many people over to watch a show. I'm finished. I'm finished, the subordinates thought that Death Mage was joking. After all, His Honor loves his wife so much, how could he possibly beat his wife? However, looking at the current situation, His Honor actually revealed his true form, and he is really starting to beat his wife. His Honor is so cruel, in order to beat his wife, he actually changed back to his true form. Death Mage immediately explained. Death Mage kept on explaining while laughing. Wei Chang finally understood. So His Honor was acting, and when he was seen by your wife, she thought that His Honor was a bad person, and thus, she started beating him up. Lai Gu was startled for a moment, then watched on happily. His Honor is definitely not willing to beat your wife, he is definitely going to be abused today. Speaking of which, I have never seen His Honor being abused before. Therefore, I have to record the entire process. Zishan said softly, His Honor is too careless, how did he get caught? That's right, I feel sorry for His Honor. Li Hun said softly while holding on to Do Fusher's arm. His Honor is definitely going to be beaten up today, and he won't be able to fight back. However, the subordinates thought to themselves, to be able to see His Honor getting beaten up is also a very glorious thing. After all, I have never seen His Honor getting beaten up by his wife before. This is too interesting. Are we going to put on an act now? Yi Hua hurriedly shouted, get lost. Stop watching the show here. However, the subordinates pretended that they didn't hear what His Honor said. In the past, His Honor often gossips about subordinates, then shouldn't we gossip about His Honor? Besides, now that His Honor isn't here, I have to listen to His Honor's wife. The group of subordinates immediately kneeled down towards Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji. Madam, do you need us to take action? Wei Chang respectfully asked. After Yi Hua heard that, the corner of his mouth twitched, and he instantly understood what these fellows meant. You guys are not bad. All of you, break up with me. Those who are already married, get a divorce. Back then, I shouldn't have acted as a matchmaker for you all, ungrateful subordinates. Dong Huang Baiji said gravely, this kind of trash, we are more than enough. You guys just stand there and watch. All of His Honor's subordinates were startled. Madam, you actually scolded His Honor as a trash, this, Yi Hua was already unable to hold himself back anymore. He had already been scolded by them for countless of times. You guys are the trash. You are a huge piece of trash, a piece of trash that no one wants. Yi Hua immediately retorted back. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji nearly went crazy. He actually said that no one wanted us. Qingye immediately scolded back, you damned skeleton, you definitely did all sorts of evil when you were alive, that's why you were cursed to become a skeleton. You who no one loves, you will be like this for the rest of your life, damn trash. F***K. You crazy woman, you are definitely going through menopause. I reckon that your man has had enough of you and is preparing to dump you. Don't think that just because you guys are pretty, you guys are inflated. You guys don't even have breasts, you guys don't even have buttocks, just looking at you guys makes me lose my appetite. All of His Honor's subordinates were dumbstruck when they saw how His Honor and Madam His Honor were talking. Are you too serious? Don't take it seriously. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji were about to go crazy from anger. This damned skeleton actually cursed us and said that no one wants us, doesn't he know that Yi Hua dotes on us the most? Dong Huang Baiji shouted out angrily, what does a trash skeleton like you know? Our husband is unrivaled under the heavens. A trash like you, with just a fart, you would be gone. Look at those people at the side, they are all my husband's subordinates, any one of them would be able to poke you to death. Humph. These two women are using me to act cool again. Other than using me to act cool, what other abilities do you two have? Hee hee, these trash aren't my opponent at all. If you don't believe me, you can call one of them over and give it a try. Yihua decided to teach his subordinates a lesson first. To actually dare to watch me being put on a good show, they are truly going against their superiors. All of Yihua's subordinates immediately shrunk back. Do Fusher. You, go. Qingye shouted out. Do Fusher was in despair. Why am I always the one who gets injured? That is his honor, aren't you just courting death by asking me to go up and fight with his honor? That fellow called Do Fusher, get the hell out here. Yihua shouted out coldly. Li Hun's heart ached. My husband is going to be taught a lesson by his honor, can't he just change to someone else? Although Li Hun's heart ached, for the sake of dispelling his honor's anger, I can only kick. Do Fusher was immediately kicked out of the group. What a pitiful Do Fusher, to be sold by his wife. Do Fusher swears, even if you kneel down this time, Do Fusher, will not go to your bed, I will definitely not let you have your way. Hubby, you can do it. Li Hun could be seen taking out a ribbon ball from God knows where and actually became a cheerleader for Do Fusher. Do Fusher stood at the front of the group. I don't know if I should go, but I also don't know if I should go back or not. This is so awkward. Why did I come here to watch a show? If I had known that this would happen, I wouldn't have come out just now. It would have been much better to just hide at home and sleep. At least it would have been better than becoming a punching bag for his honor. The main point is that I cannot expose his honor's identity. After all, even your wife doesn't know of his honor's true identity. Do Fusher, don't be afraid, you can fight against 10 of these trash alone. Qingye snorted. Qingye was very clear about the strength of Yihua's subordinates. Do Fusher was in despair. This isn't a matter of whether I am afraid or not. I can still fight against 10 of his honor, but his honor can already fight against 10 of me. Madam, don't anger his honor, when the time comes, his honor is going to cook me, Do Fusher. Do Fusher's subordinates discovered that his honor's wife was very crazy when she scolded his honor. Yihua held on to his plum blossom club and shouted out angrily, get the hell down here and receive your death. Do Fusher was about to cry, but he had no choice but to get down from the Plum Blossom Club. Afterward, Do Fusher pretended to be imposing and attacked Yihua. Your honor, I am also a victim. When Do Fusher got close to Yihua, he immediately begged for forgiveness. Yihua snorted, count yourself unlucky. Do Fusher, Yihua could be seen sending Do Fusher flying with a kick, then shouted out towards Qingye and Donghuang Baiji. This is subordinate. He is just as trash as the two of you. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were a little astonished. This Do Fusher couldn't have gone easy on Do Fusher, right? End of chapter. Chapter 929. Ha, this kind of trash shouldn't be sent to death, you two can come at me. Yihua crooked his finger towards Qingye and Donghuang Baiji. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji did not waste any time and rushed forward together. Yihua took a deep breath. Don't think that the two of them are very weak. One of them is from Nuo clan, and the other is from Donghuang clan. Furthermore, when they were giving birth to a child, the power of my bloodline was added into the child, and adding on the bonus from this set of equipment, the strength of the two of them was not to be underestimated. These two cheated and stole my bloodline power. If I don't use my mystical fire, it will be hard to determine who will win, but to use mystical fire on them? Is there something wrong with his brain? If something happens, he will regret it to death. Do Fusher secretly returned to the group, and then, the group of subordinates began watching the fight between his honor and his wife. Not sure who it was, but crunching sounds could be heard. Yi Hong is actually looking at her purple robe eating potato chips. Damn, in the end, Tang Wei and Li Hun also hid at the back and ate potato chips while watching his honor being abused. Your wife is finally helping us subordinates vent our anger. On the battlefield, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji immediately took out their weapons. Qingye's chasing Sun 3 Pure Ones carried a soul attack, while Donghuang Baiji's Ask Fate carried a fate attack. Yihua immediately waved the Plum Blossom Club in his hand and fought against the two wives by himself. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji were not fooling around. A terrifying aura immediately reverberated throughout the entire world, and the snowy weather immediately disappeared. It didn't disappear, it melted. When the three weapons came into contact with each other, a terrifying gale emerged, and the surrounding area was instantly affected. Luckily, there was no one here, if not, everyone would have been instantly killed. Yihua was greatly startled. These two women are serious. Just as Yihua was startled, a comfortable feeling that came from his soul emerged. However, Donghuang Baiji's Ask Fate actually triggered fate. The Plum Blossom Club that was originally blocked by Yihua actually poked into my armor. All of my passive abilities were triggered at this moment. Yihua felt that his soul was being electrocuted, and Qingye felt that she was trembling. Donghuang Baiji felt that she was being paralyzed. This scene caused the subordinates to be dumbfounded. What kind of operation was this? Is this even possible? How strange. It was as if his honor had been electrocuted, and his honor's wife trembled and became motionless. A second later, the two women immediately distanced themselves from each other, their eyes filled with horror. This skeleton was actually able to block their attacks. How was this possible? I was the one who acted like a spoiled child and asked Yihua for my equipment, and they were all Yihua's precious items. However, they were actually blocked by a skeleton. Unimaginable. Qingye, this skeleton is not simple. Donghuang Baiji said gravely. Qingye nodded her head, then said in a low voice, when I touched its weapon just now, I felt as if I was paralyzed. Just now, I was also paralyzed for a second. Fortunately, your weapon has soul attack capabilities. Just now, my fate-seeking was also activated, but it's a pity that it wasn't able to pierce through its armor. Donghuang Baiji cried out in pity. According to what Yihua said, the probability of fate-seeking being activated is still very low. From the looks of it, its weapons and equipment are not ordinary, and it is even on par with ours. Qingye's gaze became solemn. I didn't expect that the skeleton that we met today would be so formidable. From the looks of it, this skeleton is a bit troublesome. Donghuang Baiji nodded her head. From the looks of it, we have to have a good talk with Yihua today. After all, there is a very powerful enemy that we are not a match for. That's right, we cannot be careless with this matter. Let's see if we are able to get rid of it first. Alright. Let's activate a bit more of the buff, that would be even better. Yihua was very gloomy right now. If I were to injure them, my heart would ache, but if I don't attack them, I wouldn't feel good. The main point is that they are very strong. Unless I use my deviant fire, I won't be able to deal with them. Just as Yihua was pondering, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji had already started their attacks. Qingye shouted out angrily, "Lawless." Yihua paused for a moment. Lawless? Tonight, I will teach you what is truly lawless. However, after activating lawless, Qingye's aura became even more berserk. Wei Chang was very surprised, and couldn't help but say, "Your wife's strength is truly a bit scary." That's right, she is about to surpass us. Lai Gu said in a low voice. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's strength had indeed somewhat surpassed the 7 deadly sins, but that was after they obtained Yihua's bloodline power. If not for Yihua's bloodline, they wouldn't be so powerful. Of course, the bonuses from the equipment that they were wearing also had to be counted. It was impossible for Yihua to win against his wife today, unless he really had the heart to fight against her. Right now, Donghuang Baiji's benevolent navigator underworld fairy was releasing all kinds of dazzling lights, which were all kinds of buffs. Immediately, Qingye and Donghuang Baiji's battle power rose, and even the HP recovery aura was still active. Yihua felt uncomfortable. You two are bullying me a bit. If you have the ability, then fight me one-on-one. What's the big deal about 2 against 1? It's like this on the bed. It's also like this outside the bed. You two are simply shameless. Right now, Yihua wanted to use spells, but when he thought about Qingye's Crimson Heaven, which has the ability to reflect spell damage, and now that he has also used Lawless, all of his subordinates have buffs, I reckon that if I were to use a spell, 70% of the spell damage will be reflected back to my body. However, it seems like I won't be able to compete with them in strength. Qingye's weapon made my soul feel refreshed, and if I were to come into contact with them again right now, it would definitely feel even more refreshed. After all, there are many layers of buffs added onto my body. Why is their luck so good, to actually trigger so many buffs added onto my body? It can't be that they used money, right? This time, Yihua didn't fight head-on. If he fought head-on, he would be at a disadvantage. What should I think of? Just as Yihua was thinking of a way, he suddenly heard. Snap! Snap! These were 2 snaps of fingers. Yihua was dumbstruck as he looked at the wedding rings on their hands, F***K. I forgot that they still have the unlimited rings. MD. They are going too far. 2 shackles could be seen appearing on Yihua's body, directly locking him up. Qingye! Go! Donghuang Baiji shouted out lightly. This was a good opportunity. Qingye shouted out, evil thief. Die! Qingye could be seen throwing out her Chasing Sun 3 pure ones, and this terrifying ancient god artifact instantly wrapped around Yihua. A tremor that came from within Yihua's soul caused Yihua to roll his eyes. Although Yihua's eye sockets were still black, right now, Yihua was indeed rolling his eyes. These 2 stinky bitches, good job, the 2 of you are going to die. I can very responsibly tell you two are going to die. Looking at this scene, LV Liang said in a low voice, his honor is so miserable, he is being beaten up by the 2 madams. That's right. Luo Ho said in a low voice, he didn't dare to speak too loudly. Wei Chong was still very worried about his honor. If this goes on, his honor is going to be played to death. End of this chapter. Chapter 930. Lai Gu secretly took out his phone and filmed the fight, then said in a low voice, his honor is in trouble this time, your wife is serious. That's right, she is especially serious, it is as if she wants to kill his honor. Yi Hong said in a low voice. I didn't expect that your wife, who usually looks so weak, would be even more ferocious than his honor in a fight. Just look at his honor, even he is being tortured by that Chasing Sun 3 pure ones. Towards this Chasing Sun 3 Qin, Wei Chang and Lai Gu of the 7 deadly sins knew about it. This Chasing Sun 3 Qin was indeed a deadly weapon. It doesn't cause any harm to the body, but the harm it can cause to the soul is simply explosive. I never would have thought that his honor would actually give this weapon to his honor's wife. This is simply torturing oneself. At this moment, Lai Gu said in a low voice, on the day of his honor's wedding, I will release this video. His honor was beaten up by your wife. Wei Chang teased, if that happens, you will definitely be stewed, 100%. That won't happen, his honor has already said it for a few hundred years, but aren't I still fine? The main point is, his honor is becoming more and more human-like. This sentence was the most pertinent evaluation. If it was in the past, if your subordinates dared to come and look at me as a joke, I would beat them up one by one. The current Yihua was much more magnanimous, at most, he would just scold them and not beat them up. Dou Fusher could be said to be unlucky. On the stage, Yihua was tied up by the chasing Sun Three Pure Ones. Qinya and Donghuang Baiji took a look at each other. This is a good opportunity. King Luo Rune. Qinya shouted out, and a purple light immediately emerged from her hands. Below Yihua's body, a King Luo rune immediately condensed, and a terrifying suction force sucked Yihua down from the sky. Inside the rune, a deathly aura could be felt, and the people outside the rune were unable to feel anything. However, right now, Yihua could feel that the cold light in the rune was just like a substance, intertwining on his bones. This Qinya. She is indeed ruthless. She is using the techniques that I taught her to deal with me. The problem is, the techniques that I taught her are all absolute techniques, and they are all extremely powerful techniques that are only inferior to deviant flames. However, this was not the end. The purple light in Qinya's hands condensed, and soon after, it left Qinya's hands and slowly flew towards Yihua. It gradually stopped above Yihua's head. This caused Yihua to be a bit angry. You guys are really going too far. Right after Yihua finished thinking, the purple light directly descended. Although the purple lightning wasn't big, it directly landed on Yihua's bald head. Yihua's entire body turned purple, and his entire body was trembling. The two rays of purple light alternated between each other, causing Yihua to feel extremely comfortable. Empyrean impermanence. Right at this moment, Donghuang Baiji shouted out, and the One Fate sword in her hand started emitting out a terrifying aura, causing the entire sky to instantly change. Dark clouds covered the sky and thunder rumbled. The huge roar seemed to pierce through the heavens and earth. One Fate was originally emitting a pinkish glow of starlight, but it gradually turned red. The red lightning on the sword seemed to be out of control, flying everywhere. As long as this red lightning came into contact with it, it would instantly turn into dust. Behind Donghuang Baiji, an enormous illusory figure could be seen condensing out. This illusory figure was similarly emitting out a power that could destroy the heavens and exterminate the earth, causing Donghuang Baiji to look just like a goddess of war that had descended to the mortal world. It's over, his honor is going to die. Lai Gu cried out in alarm. This is too ferocious, these two madams are truly fighting with no regard for their lives. After all, if I miss this opportunity, I won't be able to get another opportunity like this again. The subordinates were indeed a bit worried for his honor. After all, his honor wouldn't hit his wife. However, his honor's wife doesn't know about Yihua's true body, and thus, his honor's wife will definitely go all out. Each and every one of his honor's moves were filled with killing intent. Donghuang Baiji waved the One Fate sword in her hand, and the enormous illusory figure behind Donghuang Baiji did the same as well. When the enormous One Fate sword was lifted up, the air seemed to have been sucked dry, and the entire sky could see the enormous sword falling down while bringing along a gale with it. However, just by falling down from the sky, the entire ground was instantly unable to support itself. Countless cracks spread out, and there was even a terrifying collapse that appeared on the ground. When Yihua saw this, he scolded in his heart. These two crazy bitches, is there a need for you to do this? Which eye of yours saw me do something that goes against the heavens? You two are simply unreasonable, and I am unable to communicate with you two. Both of you are using big moves to kill me, you two are simply shameless. The main point is, I am being entangled by the things that I created. Soul attack, confinement, and electric shock. Do you want me to drip wax on you two to satisfy that perverted desire of yours? Looking at the enormous One Fate sword falling down, Yihua could feel the boundless power coming from it. The Empress is indeed ferocious, to actually murder her own husband. If I were to die, you two can just go and cry. It will be too late for regrets. Gotcha. A clear and melodious sound suddenly rang out from the Guanchang armor that Yihua was wearing, and a crack could be seen appearing on the right side of his chest. The crack immediately spread throughout the entire armor. After suffering from so many different kinds of injuries, the armor had already reached its limit. In just a short breath of time, the Guanchang armor on Yihua's body turned into pieces of rocks and fell off. There's no helping it, they are truly too ferocious, and the enormous sword that is on top of my head is truly trying to take my life. Boom! When Fate's sword finally landed, and the entire ground was trembling crazily. The terrifying aura caused even the sky to stop rumbling, and at this moment, everything seemed to have lost its splendor. Yihua steadily received the attacks from his two wives. I don't know how he feels, but one thing is for sure, he will definitely feel uncomfortable. The terrifying destructive power shocked all the subordinates, and they felt that your wife was about to die. If I beat up his honor like this, it is very likely that I will suffer from his honor's domestic violence. Hitting her husband was fun for a while, but when she got home, he was a washboard. Humph. You all are truly looking down on me too much. Yihua's voice slowly rang out. This caused Qingye and Donghuang Baiji to be incomparably shocked. This skeleton is actually still able to speak after suffering from two powerful attacks. How is this possible? Donghuang Baiji had been using the things that Yihua taught her, but it was actually useless. Could it be that this skeleton is more powerful than Yihua? How is this possible? Yihua often says that he is the most powerful one, then what is this thing? Is this Yihua's twin brother? Yihua's voice could be heard once again ringing out from within the dust cloud, super transformation. The subordinates. When did his honor learn to transform? Transform into a crossdresser? This was a little too careless. Yihua finally took out his trump card. This was the technique that Yihua had developed by himself, super transformation. As the name suggested, it was to achieve a more perfect state. It was commonly known as handsome. Along with Yihua shouting out super transformation, all of the surrounding techniques dissipated, and right now, only Yihua's skeleton remained. All of his weapons and equipment had dissipated just a moment ago. Looking at his honor's current appearance, everyone went into a daze. His honor is still as fond of the color gold as before, to actually change his skeleton into the color gold. End of this chapter. Chapter 931. Indeed, Yihua's originally eerie white bones were dyed with a layer of gold, and there was even a bit of reflection on the bones. Especially that golden bald head of his, it carried the smell of a nouveau riche. Yihua had never used this super transformation, and it could be considered as a secret. Its effect is a bit similar to Qingye's lawless, both of them are able to increase all of one's abilities, and can be said to be invincible. At the very least, Yihua felt that he could beat his wife to his heart's content. These two mischievous eggs are actually so savage. Today, I will teach you how to be a good wife. Qingye and Donghuang Baiji both sensed Yihua's aura, and their hearts became very heavy. Because this golden skeleton looked a lot stronger than before. He even felt that he was no match for it. What should he do? Baiji, we have to go and look for Yihua. Qingye said gravely. This skeleton's strength had already surpassed my imagination. Donghuang Baiji felt the same as well. This golden skeleton is no longer something that I can deal with by myself. Look at the aura that is emitting from the golden skeleton, it has already become extremely terrifying. You two women, today, I will let the two of you know what pain is. Yihua shouted out, and a terrifying aura immediately spread out. The expressions of his honor's subordinates changed. His honor has become stronger again. From the looks of it, I have to train hard too. Even the terrifying his honor didn't stop his footsteps, let alone me. Donghuang Baiji snorted, if you have the guts, then fight again. Yihua, I, the Supreme Overlord, have already used my ultimate move, and you actually said to wait before fighting again? How is that possible? Looks like you're afraid of me. Qingye shouted out in a low voice, who is afraid of you? We just feel that we can't bully others with numbers. I, the Supreme Overlord, can't the two of you find a better reason? I, the Supreme Overlord, have already allowed the two of you to bully me with numbers. Oh. Are you planning to make a strategic retreat? Yihua teased. These two foolish wives of mine are still rather smart. After knowing that they can't win against me, I, the Supreme Overlord, feel a bit more at ease. At the very least, I won't force myself to fight against them. Having their thoughts seen through by Yihua, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi both felt embarrassed. We have lost face for our husbands. If Yihua were to find out about this matter, he would definitely fly into a rage. Just you wait. Don't leave if you have the guts. Wait for me for a minute. That's right. Give us a minute and we'll show you what it means to be powerful. After finished speaking, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi disappeared from Baizhi's sight. Yihua looked towards his subordinates, and the latter immediately disappeared. If we stay, we will be beaten up. Meanwhile, Yihua, who had transformed back into his human form, disappeared from the spot and reappeared in the imperial palace. Daji, serve the tea. Yihua walked into the bedroom and said, Master, your wife was looking for you everywhere just now. Daji said respectfully. Right after Daji finished speaking, Yihua heard the sound of hurried footsteps. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi's figures immediately arrived. Yihua looked towards the two women who were beating him up without any regard for their lives, and he really wanted to ruthlessly slap them. Just that, I didn't even cry, so why are you all crying? That's right, both Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi were crying, and both of them were hugging onto Yihua and crying loudly. Yihua was helpless. You guys are the ones who beat me up, yet you guys are already crying to this extent. Could it be that I, the Supreme Lord, still have to console you? If so, who is going to console me? What's the matter? Yihua was very curious, why are these two women crying? Qingye said sadly, Yihua, we have lost face for you. Donghuang Baizhi's tears flowed out non-stop, Yihua, we ran away, we got cold feet, woo-woo, you can just hit us, eh. So that's the reason. These two foolish women, it is only normal for them to be unable to defeat me. If they were able to defeat me, how am I supposed to continue living in the underworld in the future? However, looking at how sad his wives were, Yihua sighed. Glory and humiliation are already won. They can't defeat others outside, so they treat it as them losing face for themselves. But look at the Empress, she still wants me to hit them. How can there be such a cute woman like you two? Alright, be good, don't cry anymore. Yihua hurriedly consoled his two wives. Just now, the two of you were the fiercest, and how many times did you scold me for being trash? Hearing that Yihua was consoling them, Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi cried even more fiercely. Yihua felt very helpless, the one who is consoling them is always me. Alright, I will take revenge for you too. Really? Yihua, you are the best. That damned skeleton is simply too shameless, I am going to put its bones into the sewers to soak. Qingye said indignantly. To actually make me lose face in front of Yihua, that is an extremely heinous crime. Donghuang Baizhi also said indignantly, Yihua, that skeleton is very formidable, you must beat it up ruthlessly, and you must hang it up and beat it up. Use your deviant fire to burn it, and you must not burn it to death. I am truly speechless. You are clearly scolding me, yet I still have to console you. This time, I am truly unlucky. Alright, whatever you say. Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi pulled Yihua and disappeared, and they immediately arrived at the scene. Yihua pretended to look at the scene. The two of you are fighting so fiercely. Where is he? Where is he? Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi looked around, but were unable to find anyone. Immediately, they became unhappy. I called my husband over, but in the end, my husband disappeared. Don't you think that I should be angry? I have even thought of the lines to scold Yihua. Yihua, I reckon that skeleton retreated after knowing the difficulty. That's right, he definitely knew that he couldn't win against the skeleton, which is why he ran away. He is simply a despicable person. I am going to curse him for life. Black lines appeared on Yihua's forehead. You two actually want to curse me? Don't your conscience hurt? Didn't I treat you two well enough? Alright, it's just a small matter, calm down, calm down. Yihua hurriedly said. You two, stop cursing me. Yihua, I am just angry. I can't win against the skeleton, I have lost face for you. The Empress was also incomparably guilty. Yihua, quickly hit us, if not, I will feel uncomfortable. Yihua was helpless. Do you really want me to hit you? Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi nodded their heads very seriously. Alright, I won't be polite then. Yihua hugged onto Qingye and Donghuang Baizhi and disappeared. As for what he went to do, he naturally went to bully his wife. I am also a man with a temper. Since you two are acting so recklessly, I have to calm down. However, in Water City's conference hall, the atmosphere was very tense. Other than the three Supremes, there were two other people. They were Meridian Break Sect Supremacy Everlasting Hatred and God Academy Supremacy Taihe. However, above the Sea of Innocence, there was a huge crowd of people. The reason why they came here today was to demand an explanation. How were they supposed to resolve this matter? May I know why the two of you have come from afar? Kong Feiqing spoke on behalf of the two Supremes. After all, Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci weren't in a good mood. End of this chapter. Chapter 932. Eternal Hatred's face was extremely gloomy, especially when he heard those words. He almost couldn't help but attack. What's the matter? Don't you know what you've done in Water City? Or are you provoking the entire Kangluo continent? Eternal Hatred shouted in a low voice, and the pressure of a supreme martial artist instantly spread out. Tai He, who was sitting at the side, closed his eyes and listened quietly. He seemed quite calm. Kong Feiqing and the others had no idea what was happening outside. They had been dealing with all kinds of important matters these days. Eternal Hatred, you've gone too far. Since the establishment of Water City, we have never participated in the affairs of your continent. How can you say that we're provoking you? I, Kong Feiqing, will not admit to such a false accusation. Kong Feiqing was quite unyielding. After all, he was a supreme martial artist. The situation that day was special. After all, the other party was too strong, so he had to be afraid. However, Eternal Hatred and Tai He were also supreme martial artists. Kong Feiqing didn't have much fear. He didn't fear them at all. They could choose to fight one-on-one or in groups. If they really wanted to fight, Water City would accept it. Hearing Kong Feiqing's words, Eternal Hatred was so angry that he laughed. Don't you know what you've done in Water City? 2 waves of sea hulls flattened coastal cities, and countless people died in the tsunami. And that so-called golden magma actually fell on the outer sect of my Broken Pulse sect. So many students died. Can you bear the responsibility for this? The 3 of them were stunned at first, but they immediately remembered what had happened. It was probably caused by the battle against the Abyss Wave a few days ago. Eternal Hatred saw their expressions and knew that they knew about it. So he was even more furious. Kong Feiqing heaved a sigh of relief. He looked at Pai Liangjun and Bao Xi and said indifferently, "Do you know what happened to them? You're just spouting nonsense." Eternal Hatred said coldly. "Who knew what happened to them? I'm just a supreme martial artist, not a god of creation." "Their son died in the battle a few days ago," Kong Feiqing said in a low voice. Sure enough, Pai Liangjun and Bao Xi were very depressed when it came to this matter. They even clenched their fists. That day, their enemy was right in front of them, but they couldn't do anything. They even listened to him and let him go. They even begged him to go. This kind of situation made people feel despair. That kind of helplessness was really hateful. He slowly opened his eyes and asked doubtfully, "What happened?" Kong Feiqing let out a breath and said in a deep voice, "In our water city, the old ancestors sealed a giant beast called the Abyss Wave in the magma. It is the burning fiend." Sure enough, everlasting sorrow and Tai's expressions became solemn when they heard the words Burn Sha. Because the Burn Sha wasn't an ordinary colossus, it was a primordial divine beast. That day, we sealed it with all our might and fought against the burning fiend incantation. Perhaps it was the aftermath of the battle that led to such a tsunami. "We can't do anything about it," Kong Feiqing said helplessly. There were falsehoods and truths in his words. Of course, it was a fight to the death. They had clearly run away. However, the aftershock from the battle was real. Lonesome Hatred didn't believe it and asked in a low voice, "What happened in the end? Where's Fan Sha? If Fan Sha was still here, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you." Kong Feiqing squeezed out a smile. In this battle, all of them had suffered losses, except for him. He laughed, but this laughter contained contempt. It was as if he was saying, "You want to destroy the burning fiend with just you? How is that possible?" Of course, Lonesome Hatred wouldn't believe such a thing. The burning fiend was so powerful that even deities feared it. "You say that the three of you killed the burning fiend. Aren't you playing with children? Do you think that we are easy to deceive? Is the burning fiend something that the three of you can kill?" Lonesome Hatred wouldn't believe such a thing even if he was beaten to death. Kong Feiqing snorted, "Lonesome Hatred, just because you don't have the strength doesn't mean that my water castle doesn't have the strength, do you understand? Just now, when we came over, we discovered that there was a bit of a problem with your star cannons." At this moment, he continued speaking. "The star cannons were destroyed by Renyao that day, but how could a water castle without a star cannons do? Thus, they made a fake one and placed the fake star cannons on the city walls, giving people a kind of illusion. From the outside, there was no difference between the fake star cannons and the fake star cannons. However, the fake star cannons were just empty shells, and were unable to gather energy. I didn't expect that he would actually see through it. This water castle without a star cannons was just like a drunken lady, allowing people to do whatever they wanted and trample all over them." Kong Feiqing picked up the teacup in his hand and took a sip. "The star cannons are my water castle's secret treasures, and it was also the star cannons that destroyed the burning fiend." After saying this, Lonesome Hatred and he started to believe him a little. After all, the star cannons of Water Castle were famous for being ruthless. The reason why they didn't directly attack was because they were afraid of the star cannons. It was said that even Supremes couldn't withstand a single shot from this star cannons and were instantly turned into dregs. He understood now. It turned out that these star cannons had been fired before. No wonder it felt like there was nothing at all. Then what about the burning fiend's corpse? Lonesome Hatred asked in a deep voice. "You guys talked so much about the burning fiend, you have to at least let me see the corpse, right? After all, there's no proof for these words." Kong Feiqing stood up and took down a box from the shelf at the side. "The burning fiend's corpse is in this box." Kong Feiqing stretched out the small box in his hand. Lonesome Hatred and He looked at the box, and the corners of their mouths twitched slightly. Do you really think we're 3 years old? For a race like the Burning Fiend, no matter how weak it is, it's still as big as a person, right? I'm afraid you're trying to fool us with a cockroach's corpse. I know the doubts in your hearts. The Burning Fiend is indeed very big, but after it died, its body shrank, and it's about the same size as an ordinary spider. When Kong Fei-ching brought people to look for the corpse, it really took them a long time to find it. It was really like looking for a needle in a haystack. Kong Fei-ching opened the box, and Lonesome Hatred and He both looked at it. It was like a dead spider with 8 legs bent, but its body was white, like a maggot. In fact, this was also the first time Lonesome Hatred and He saw the Burning Fiend, and their eyes were filled with curiosity. After all, the Burning Fiend was something that even the gods were afraid of. For this water castle, it actually killed one. Was this real or fake? This is the Burning Fiend. Kong Fei-ching, aren't you a little too careless? Lonesome Hatred couldn't feel any aura at all. It was just like an ordinary insect. I don't think so either. He also said. Kong Fei-ching closed the box and said in a deep voice, how would you know? It doesn't matter, but I want to tell you that our water castle can destroy the Burning Fiend, and we won't be afraid of anyone. Kong Fei-ching, is this the attitude of your water castle? Lonesome Hatred asked in a deep voice. Pai Liangjun stood up at this time. Lonesome Hatred, who can stop natural and man-made disasters? If you want to use this method to invade Water Castle, then let's fight. End of this chapter. Chapter 933. Fight. Bao Xi also stood up and shouted. His son and mount had died. He couldn't swallow this anger. Since they wanted to fight, then come. Water City wouldn't be afraid of them. Kong Fei-ching didn't expect Pai Liangjun and Bao Xi to be so stubborn. They actually said they wanted to fight. How could he let them back down? He was just expressing his attitude, he didn't really want to fight. After all, the star cannon was gone. Without this powerful killing intent, it would be very difficult to deal with them. After all, there were more than 2 Supremes in the Kanglo continent. If a few more came, it would be a problem. Everlasting Hatred and Taiha's complexions worsened when they heard the attitude of these people. They were considering a problem. Should they fight or not? Since the other side's attitude was so unyielding, if they backed down now, wouldn't it make others think they were afraid of Water City? However, thinking of the star cannon outside, Everlasting Hatred and Taiha were a little worried. This wasn't a joke. Even Supremes were afraid of it. The atmosphere was so heavy that it even caused the air to quiet down. Kong Fei-ching had his own worries, and so did Everlasting Hatred. Neither side wanted to fight, but if no one gave them a way out, they would have no choice but to fight. If a fight really broke out, Water City would definitely be at a disadvantage. After all, with Everlasting Hatred and Taiha's status, if the 2 of them called for the help of other Supremes, how could Water City resist them? The main problem was that the star cannon was gone, but the star cannon was still there. In fact, Water City's attitude could be even more unyielding. Both sides were in a deadlock, and it seemed like they would fight at any moment. At this time, Abalone suddenly appeared. Looking at the various supreme beings present, he slightly leaned forward and said in a gentle voice, "Seniors, please calm down. This entire matter is just a misunderstanding. If a fight breaks out, it will be the loss of both sides. Peace is the most important." With Abalone as a way out, the atmosphere finally relaxed. At least it wasn't the kind of situation where they would fight at any moment. Supreme Everlasting Sorrow, most of the people in Water City know that a burning fiend has appeared in Water City. There's no need for us to lie to you about such a thing. It's unavoidable for accidents to occur in battle. We, Water City, express our condolences to those who died in this disaster. What Abalone said was pertinent. At the very least, it made everlasting hatred and Taihe feel a lot more comfortable. However, it was only a little. This girl was good at talking, and she was much better than the other three. Bao Ci was very puzzled. When did his daughter become so talkative? She had never seen Sharky so brave before. She belonged to the pretty girl from a humble family type. Of course, Abalone was not that kind of person. He was taught by Qi Shuwen. In Qi Shuwen's heart, his position in the Bao family was still too low. If he did something, it would be helpful in the future. Moreover, now was not the time to start a war. Qi Shuwen also knew about the Star Cannon. The current Water City wasn't a match for the Bao clan. Once it fell, his reputation as the Bao clan's son-in-law would be gone. Now, he didn't get any benefits except for a woman. After hearing this, Eternal Hatred said in a deep voice, "Mourn. How can we mourn with so many wronged souls? All the people in the coastal areas have been devoured, and all they do is mourn." Abalone's function had been completed, so he didn't participate in it. Kong Feiqing, of course, heard it. He said in a low voice, "Everlasting hatred, although this natural disaster was an accident, it was caused by our Water City. Therefore, we will not shirk our responsibility. We can discuss the reconstruction work." Pai Liangjun and Bao Ci seemed to have come to their senses. It was true that they couldn't fight now. It was very disadvantageous for them. Everlasting Hatred and Taihe also knew the pros and cons. Since the other party had given them face, it would be easy to negotiate. After all, they had come today to ask for an explanation. Everlasting Hatred stood up and said, "All right, let's discuss this matter properly." Kong Feiqing nodded and sent Everlasting Hatred and Taihe out. Today's matter was considered settled. As for the following discussion, they would make plans later. After Everlasting Hatred and Taihe emerged from the sea, they brought their people back. They were very satisfied with this result. At least Water City had bowed its head. Next, they would discuss the matter of compensation. In the meeting hall, Bao Ci shouted, "Sharky, come out." Bao Yu walked in from the door and greeted respectfully, "Father." "What happened just now?" Bao Ci asked in a low voice. Abalone pursed her lips, as if she didn't want to say it. "Speak." "Lord Father, it was my husband who taught me to say it." Abalone couldn't help but say it. Just now, her husband had clearly told her not to say it was taught by her. Her husband was a low-profile person, doing good deeds without leaving his name. Having such a husband was also a blessing. "Qi Shuwen taught you?" "Yes." "Let him in," Bao Ci said in a low voice. Qi Shuwen's figure slowly walked in and respectfully said, "Greetings, Lord Father and Patriarchs." Bao Ci looked at his son-in-law. If it wasn't for his daughter liking him, how could she have married such a person? "You told Sharky to say that?" Bao Ci coldly asked. "Yes, Lord Father." "How dare you?" Bao Ci angrily shouted and slammed the table. Qi Shuwen appeared very calm, not panicking in the slightest. On the other hand, Abalone panicked, "Lord Father, my husband didn't do anything wrong." "He didn't do anything wrong. What about our Water City's face? Isn't this showing weakness in front of those two fellows?" At this time, Kong Feiqing smiled and said, "Brother Bao, let's hear what your son-in-law thinks first." "Humph. Thinking he's smart." Bao Ci coldly snorted and drank the tea in one gulp. "Qi Shuwen, tell me, why did you do this?" Kong Feiqing indifferently asked. Abalone gave him an encouraging look. Qi Shuwen looked at the three supreme beings and said, because the current water city doesn't have the strength to start a war. Bang! Bao Ci directly smashed the table. Impudent! How can you know the strength of our water city? Kong Feiqing and Pai Liangjun's expressions weren't good either. This was destroying their own prestige and boosting their opponent's morale. Abalone was also frightened. How could her husband say that? No matter what, he couldn't say that Water City wasn't good. Qi Shuwen continued, if the star cannons were still here, I wouldn't have said that. Our Water City is afraid of the number of supreme beings they have, and they are also afraid of our star cannons. If we were to start a war, Water City would become history, or even a tourist attraction. And today, they came here mainly to test us. The situation just now was very dangerous, and I had no choice but to let Sharky come out and give us a way out. Lord Father, Patriarchs, we don't have the star cannons now. This is a fact. Following Qi Shuwen's words, the three supreme beings' expressions weren't good. Although this was a fact, it still made them unhappy. Chapter 934. Furthermore, for the matter of causing the tsunami, Watertown is naturally responsible for it. Rather than shirking the responsibility, why don't we just accept it, and by doing so, we will be able to obtain a good reputation. By then, everyone will only remember how good Watertown is, and by then, what reason would they have to attack us? Because there would be no more excuses. Following Qi Shuwen's words, the three supremes became silent. Compared to the time when we had the star cannon, we indeed have to hide from it. We should also quickly find something to replace the star cannon, only then would we be able to ensure the safety of Watertown. After all, there are too many fishy things going on in this matter. Hearing that there was something fishy going on, the three supremes all looked towards Qi Shuwen. What fishy things? Pai Liangjun asked gravely. Those 5 women. Qi Shuwen said gravely. Qi Shuwen was not a kind person, he had a stomach full of evil tricks. These few days, he was also thinking about how to do it, and was also looking for an opportunity, and today was the opportunity. Those 5 women. Bao Ci asked confusedly. That's right, those 5 women should have been saved by Pippi, and one of them was even captured by him. Didn't he release him in the end? However, this capture was just an act, those 5 women aren't weak and delicate. The 3 supremes immediately recalled. If it was an ordinary person who saw that kind of scene, they would definitely be scared to death, but those 5 women seemed to be just watching a show. Qi Shuwen continued, that day, Fishy and I didn't rush back, and we saw everything. That Fan Sha was killed by those 5 women. Everyone sucked in a mouthful of cold air, that Fan Sha was actually killed by those 5 women. Just how strong are those 5 women? Why didn't you say so earlier? Pai Liangjun said gravely. Because these few days, I have been thinking, why did they do that, what is their goal, but today's matter made me have a thought. What is it? Bao Ci asked gravely. Those 5 women were purposely arranged to come over, and then caused a disaster. This way, they would be able to openly come over and provoke us. Qi Shuwen's words caused the 3 supremes to be astonished. Those 5 women are creating opportunities for others, what a vicious thought. Abeo Yuyu looked at her husband and felt very proud. Her husband's talent was outstanding, and she had not misjudged him. From the very beginning, we have fallen into someone else's trap. Lord Father, Patriarchs, think about it carefully. Why did all the young masters fight? Was it because of them? Even during my wedding, my brain almost caused me to lose the love of my life. After Qi Shuwen finished speaking, he looked tenderly at Abalone Fish. Abalone Fish revealed a guilty look. She had been fooled and almost scolded her husband away. So, all of this is a conspiracy from the Kangluo continent. They are plotting against our water city. Qi Shuwen was also laying the groundwork. They couldn't fight now, but that didn't mean they couldn't fight in the future. This was because Qi Shuwen knew that Water City would not participate in the matters of the continent. However, this was because their hatred was not strong enough. Therefore, what he had to do now was to attract hatred, especially from Bao Xiai and Pai Liangjun. Their sons had died. This kind of hatred was absolutely irreconcilable. Moreover, now that they knew that this was a conspiracy from the continent, they became even more furious. After Bao Xiai and Pai Liangjun heard this, they were indeed furious. After all, what Qi Shuwen said was very reasonable. They even felt that it was most likely the case. This damned everlasting hatred. Pai Liangjun shouted angrily. His son was kind enough to save someone, but in the end, he was schemed against. Don't you think this kind of thing is infuriating? Bao Xi's face was gloomy. If everlasting hatred was still here, he would definitely make a move. Although Qi Shuwen didn't mention anyone, in their hearts, they had already tacitly agreed that it was everlasting hatred. However, Qi Shuwen continued, now that we have lost the powerful star cannon, we have to advance step by step and wait for the time when we are strong. At that time, no one will dare to bully my water city. These words were impassioned and gave people a sense of motivation. I've finished speaking. Qi Shuwen said respectfully. He cupped his hands and left with abalone fish. The conference hall was incomparably quiet. After a long time, Kong Feiqing said, seems like the Bao clan has found a wise son-in-law. Today, I can see that he is a resourceful person. He's pretty good, Pai Liangjun said. It seemed like the three supremes had all been deceived. Actually, it wasn't really deceived. Apart from not telling the 5 women their identities, everything else was true. Even his goal was scared silly. This Qi Shuwen could be considered an expert in assisting. Bao Xiai felt that this son-in-law of his was indeed not bad. He actually had such an opinion. It seemed like he had underestimated Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen's goal could be considered to have been achieved. Now, all he had to do was wait and properly develop himself. There were many good things in the Sea of Innocence. Reaching the Supremes was only a matter of time. Moreover, the Bao clan also had many good things. If he treated abalone fish well, when the time came, abalone fish would definitely say something about it. If that happened, wouldn't Lord Father give it to him? As for those 5 women, sooner or later, he would surpass them. And that empress. And that man, sooner or later, Qi Shuwen, will beat you up. Perhaps Qing Yutong still didn't know that her goal had been achieved by accident. At this moment, the group of 7 looked as if they were on a vacation. Yang Haotian and Ren Yao sat on the back of a horse, while the 5 women sat in the carriage and chatted. When women were together, they had countless topics to talk about. They could practically chat endlessly. However, the relationship between Yang Haotian and Ren Yao was a bit unusual. At this moment, Yang Haotian was sitting on the back of a horse. He suddenly said, I suddenly feel like drinking something. Ren Yao took a look at Yang Haotian, then rubbed her head. Recently, her hair hasn't grown much. Drink what? Protect you. Ren Yao, when the 5 women in the carriage heard what Yang Haotian said, they immediately laughed until their stomachs hurt. This Yang Haotian is simply a slut. As for Ren Yao could be seen licking the corner of her mouth, then slightly raised her finger. Do you really want to protect me? Yang Haotian almost vomited. This was the reverse teasing, and it would happen a few times every day. In any case, these 2 sluts were together, and they were happy and joyful the entire journey. Are we not there yet? Qing Yutong asked. Yang Haotian looked at the sky. Big sis, we should be there by tomorrow. Why don't we use teleportation? If we do that, we will lose a lot of happiness. In actuality, the most ordinary means of transportation can actually bring happiness. As for where they were going, the closest place would be Meridian Break Sect. Qin Yutong planned to go and take a look at little Ah Li and God Yi. I wonder how those two little fellows are doing. Brother-in-law is truly heartless, throwing them away just like that. I reckon that right now, they are having a 3-person world and are very happy. Chapter 935. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Novel Qing Yutong's guess was indeed correct. Yihua had indeed experienced the world of 3 before. As the sky gradually darkened, the 7 of them rested on the grass not far from the roadside and started a fire to barbecue. Of course, the job of hunting was handed over to the 2 flashy guys, so it was much easier with their underlings around. They could do a lot of manual labor. Ren Yao was already used to it. There was nothing wrong with being a lackey, as long as it felt glorious. That way, it would be balanced. Yang Haotian was thinking that since even an expert like Ren Yao was willing to be a subordinate, it was even more so for him, a Dozun, to be a subordinate. The 5 women were lying on the chairs, and there was a small table in the middle with drinks on it. The 2 men acted as servants throughout the entire process. While eating the skewers, Qing Yutong suddenly said, "Let me test you guys on a question." Yang Haotian, Ren Yao, when the 2 of them heard this, they instantly lost their composure. Asking this question every day was simply too shameless. It should not be logical at all. Moreover, he had to be laughed at. The other 4 women were already preparing to laugh. It was too interesting. Look at their expressions. Do you know why mice can fly? Qin Yutong asked with a smile on her face, and that smile of hers could be said to be the smile of a devil. Sure enough, Yang Haotian and Ren Yao were dumbfounded when they heard this question. Can mice fly? Did I boast to the heavens? Yang Haotian and Ren Yao shook their heads, indicating that they had no idea. Idiot, it's because after a mouse eats an immortal pill, it can fly. So stupid. Ha ha ha. The other 4 women immediately laughed and cooperated with him. The 2 men had bitter expressions on their faces. Your question is illogical, right? If you have the ability, come and make it logical. Qin Yutong immediately asked again, why are snakes able to fly? Yang Haotian immediately raised his hand. Hee, if I can't answer such a question, then I'll go eat sh*t, speak. Yang Haotian said proudly, that's because the snake also ate the elixir of immortality. Wrong, because the snake ate the mouse. Yang Haotian, ha ha ha, you idiot. Ren Yao immediately pointed at Yang Haotian and began to ridicule him. Yang Haotian instantly felt bad. The tender laughter of the 5 women resounded under the night sky. Who knew how happy they were? Qin Yutong paused for a bit, then continued, why can eagles fly? Ren Yao immediately raised her hand. It was too easy. Because the eagle ate immortal pills, mice, and snakes. After saying that, Ren Yao started to feel proud. Look, I've sealed off all your paths. I'm still the smart one. As expected of a guardian, I'm too quick-witted. Eagles have always been able to fly. Qin Yutong laughed out loud, then held on to her stomach and laughed out loud. However, the depressed Yang Haotian pointed at Ren Yao and shouted, haha, idiot, haha, idiot. Ren Yao's face was full of embarrassment. You guys are too much. You're bullying me. I'm not going to play with you anymore. That's what my mum said. After the daily teasing, everyone enjoyed the delicious food and the warm weather in the south. It was so comfortable. However, at this moment, a strange sound rang out. It sounded like footsteps. The 5 women heard it, but they didn't care and continued to enjoy it. With a Dozun and a Luo Dan who could pinch a Jizun to death, what was there to be afraid of? This was an invincible team. Whoever came would die. From the darkness, 3 men walked out. From a glance, one could tell that these 3 men were not good people. There were swords on their waists, and their faces were sinister. Big Brother. Beauty. Big Brother. Beauty, beauty, beauty. I'm not blind, I don't need you guys to remind me. Also, we are launching a sneak attack, why are you guys shouting so loudly? Are you guys sick in the head? Originally, Qing Yutong and the others weren't curious. However, after hearing this kind of conversation, they became curious. They loved to see people who were sick in the head. Yang Haotian and Ren Yao looked at the 3 of them with a stupefied face. Seems like these 3 people are brothers. However, it's a pity that they have such brains. Such a good plan was ruined by you guys. Big Brother said angrily. He didn't hide anymore and directly stood out. However, his legs seemed to have been tangled by a tree branch. Plop. His entire face smashed into the grass. Ha ha ha. The 5 women instantly collapsed from laughing. Even Yang Haotian and Ren Yao were laughing endlessly. Are these 3 ordinary people here to be funny? If they are here to rob, can't they be a bit more imposing? Big Brother. Why are you lying on the ground? Big Brother, don't be afraid, we can win. Second brother and third brother hurriedly helped Big Brother up. Fortunately, it was night time right now, and the redness on Big Brother's face was covered. Leg. 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 Big Brother is really convinced, my leg is tangled. Second brother took a look and saw that Big Brother's leg was tangled. Clang. Second brother immediately pulled out his saber. Big Brother, I will help you chop it off. Third brother couldn't help but remind, second brother, the sky is dark right now, don't chop off Big Brother's leg. Ha 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 ha. Even Brett was laughing until his stomach hurt. I have never seen such a weirdo before. Big Brother's face stiffened, no. I will do it myself. Big Brother, believe in my saber technique. Second brother patted his chest and said, appearing to be very confident. Third brother couldn't help but say, last time Big Brother let you practice saber technique, look at the result. You chopped off both ends, but you couldn't chop off the middle. Big Brother, believe in me, this time, I won't make a mistake. Scram. Alright. Big Brother had no other choice, he had already lost his face, he could only start from his imposing manner. What is imposing manner? That is, the instant the saber is pulled out, I will be able to display a terrifying aura and scare the other party. The imposing manner of the little brother pulling out the saber just now doesn't count. Big Brother stood up with great difficulty and held onto the saber hilt with his right hand. Looking at that group of people from the corner of his eyes, he was actually still laughing. I will make all of you unable to laugh in a moment. Look at Big Brother's saber technique. I will shock all of you. Clang. With a flash of silver light, Big Brother pulled out his saber and raised it up high, then sized up that group of people. Hee hee. As expected, all of you were shocked by my saber technique. Are you afraid now? You even dared to tease me just now, you are simply courting death. Later on, I will kill those 2 men and keep the beauties for myself. Big Brother, you. Third brother looked at Big Brother and said intermittently, as if he had seen a ghost. And when Big Brother turned around to take a look, fuck. Second brother could be seen holding onto his neck and looking at his big brother with a face full of shock, seemingly saying, Big Brother, even if my saber technique isn't good, you don't have to do this. Qing Yutong and the others were indeed stupefied. When this fellow pulled out the saber just now, he conveniently cut off his little brother's neck. This is simply too shocking. Why is there such a thing happening? This is too shocking. Qing Yutong felt that this little brother's saber technique isn't good. This big brother's saber technique is the same as well. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. Chapter 889. Translation: the red packet on that little butt is simply too tempting. My future is on that little butt. After Yang Haotian left, Qing Yutong said, "What do we do?" Among these 5 women, Qing Yutong's identity was right there. After all, she was your wife. Although Qing Yutong did not allow them to address her as their wife, they still had to respect her. Yi Zizi and Kai Yun basically would not consider this problem. They would just kill them once they caught them. The only ones that could be discussed were the other 3. Yu Hua said softly, "I think, how about we talk about it after we get there first?" "Then what are we going to do? Directly rush into other people's sect and kill them?" Brett laughed lightly. "If that was really the case, I can settle everything by myself with my bow." Qing Yutong shook her head. "This is too simple, there is not much fun in it. If we are going to play, then let's play big." "How big?" Kai Yun asked curiously. Even Yi Zizi, who was angry, also looked towards Qing Yutong curiously. Let me think about it first." Qing Yutong also did not know how to play. Thinking back to when they were in Ing family, they just let nature take its course. Upon thinking back to when they were in Ing family, Qing Yutong's eyes lit up. "Zizi, do you still remember how we were kidnapped into Ing family?" A strange smile appeared on Yi Zizi's face, then she looked towards Brett, Yu Hua, and the others. Being looked at by Yi Zizi like that, everyone felt uncomfortable. "Yang Haotian, come over." Qing Yutong waved her hand. Yang Haotian, who was squatting at the side and drawing circles, ran over eagerly. Where did he look like an emperor? He looked more like a little follower. "Boss, what's the matter?" Yang Haotian even directly changed the way he addressed Yu Hua. "I heard that there is a water city at the intersection of the north and south." Qing Yutong also unintentionally heard it in the city. Hearing the water city, Yang Haotian paused for a moment, then said, "Boss, we can directly go there from the sky, there is no need to go to the water city." "Are you very afraid of this water city?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. "Boss, this water city is an intermediary that separates the north and south. I heard that there are 3 great clans inside, and they are extremely powerful. If the strongest on the continent are the Broken Meridian sect and the Deity Academy, then the 3 great clans in Water City are the same. Their clan leaders are all supreme beings. There is no need for us to go there." Yang Haotian really didn't want to go to that damned place. He could just fly over the water. No one would care. Even if he went by boat, no one would care. But if you force your way into Water City, you're done for. Qing Yutong suddenly revealed out a smile. "Let's go to Water City." "Without you guys, how am I going to show off my awesome saber techniques?" Big Brother glanced at Qing Yutong and the others from the corner of his eyes, and discovered that the other party was already very surprised. "I reckon that the other party is also shocked by my own blade technique. Looks like I have to take revenge for my little brother. Second brother, third brother, don't worry. Big Brother will help you experience your share. Leave the rest to Big Brother. Have a good rest. We will still be brothers in our next lives. Big Brother will teach you a peerless saber technique." If second brother and third brother heard this, they wouldn't want to be brothers with you even if they were beaten to death. Big Brother began to twirl the knife in his hand, and it shone with a silver light under the moonlight. Ren Yao looked at it and said lightly, "What a show-off." Hearing that, Big Brother was no longer calm. This is a technique that I secretly learned from a broken meridian sex disciple, and he actually said that I'm playing around with it. Seems like I have to let him experience the power of broken meridian sex saber technique. It's just that I haven't learned this set of saber technique yet. However, I don't care anymore, these people are too arrogant, I have to extinguish their prestige. Ha! Qin Yutong and the others were startled. This is truly a person who shouts at the slightest disagreement. Ultimate saber technique. Hearing Big Brother shout out such a ferocious name, this kind of saber technique must definitely be very awesome. Let's see how powerful this ultimate saber technique is. Big Brother could be seen twirling the knife in his hand at an extremely fast speed. It was less show-off and more ferocious. Yu Hua couldn't bear to applaud. This kind of saber technique has to be encouraged. Along with Yu Hua clapping her hands, Big Brother instantly looked over. The beauty is actually applauding. With this moment of distraction, the knife in Big Brother's hand swung towards him at an unimaginable angle. Puchi! Everyone was shocked. Even Big Brother was shocked. This group of people is so ferocious, they actually messed up my rhythm. I haven't even mastered this set of ultimate saber technique yet, I didn't expect that I would die here today, this is truly pitiful. The future overlord actually died before he even started. Qin Yutong felt that something was wrong. These people can't possibly be performing acrobatics, right? The kind where all of them will stand up and ask for money later on. After all, this is too inconceivable, you guys are clearly here to rob, but in the end, you guys fell before you even started. Big Brother's expression was sinister, and he actually directly pulled out the knife from his abdomen, then pointed at everyone, seemingly saying, "You guys wait for me, I will go and call for help." After that, he turned around and ran. Plop! Big Brother was once again entangled by a tree branch, and he fell onto the ground, unable to get up anymore. Qin Yutong looked at Brett, Brett looked at Yu Hua looked at Kai Yun, and Kai Yun looked at Yizizi. Their minds were filled with question marks, and they completely couldn't understand what these three people were doing. The sausages in Yang Haotian's and Ren Yao's hands were all black, and an unpleasant smell was emitting out from them. Ren Yao, go and take a look at the situation, are they performing acrobatics? Qin Yutong couldn't help but say. This is too bizarre, I completely can't accept this kind of idiotic plot. Ren Yao immediately went to take a look, then shouted out, "Boss, they are really dead." Qin Yutong, F***K. Yizizi couldn't help but curse. Shocked, incomparably shocked, they are actually really robbers, my god, how did they rob in the past? Yang Haotian couldn't help but go and take a look at the situation as well, it is actually true. The five women couldn't help but run over to take a look at the situation as well. Even television dramas wouldn't be filmed like this, I, Qin Yutong, am convinced by your brains. You guys are awesome, you guys successfully acted cool in front of me, Qin Yutong, very successful, you guys are practically using your lives to act cool. Are we too cruel? Kai Yun couldn't help but say. Yizizi rubbed her chin, then said seriously, it's not that we are cruel, it's that they scared us. Yang Haotian felt that there was nothing wrong with what Yizizi said, these three people scared us. However, when he saw the red packet on Yizizi's butt, Yang Haotian couldn't help but swallow his saliva. I really want to go and touch it, as long as I touch it, I, Yang Haotian, will do anything. However, right at this moment, two red rays of light landed at the side. The red rays of light were two men who wore white robes. If they are in the surroundings, they should be the people from Meridian Break's sect. The two men did not say anything, and they walked over to take a look at the situation of the three people. Senior brother, they are all dead. This senior brother looked towards Qin Yutong and the others, and his brows wrinkled. These women are all very good-looking. Baidu search 881 Chinese website yen. No advertising words. Chapter 937. But who would have thought that under that beauty, there was actually a heart of a snake and scorpion? How vicious, to actually kill a young man in the prime of his youth. Did you guys kill them? Senior brother asked in a low voice. Their methods of killing were too ruthless. Qin Yutong pursed her lips. If I said that they killed themselves, would you guys believe me? I don't believe you. Actually, I can't believe it either, but it happened. It's true. They can testify that this big brother killed 2 of his underlings and then committed suicide. They are also robbers. Qin Yutong said solemnly, expressing that we really didn't do anything to them, and they were the ones who played themselves to death. The senior marshal brother said coldly, you have committed murder and arson in the Broken Meridian sect. Follow me back to the mountain and await punishment. You guys from the Meridian Break sect are way too unreasonable, aren't you? They were clearly the ones who killed themselves. Kai Yun couldn't help but say. His temper was starting to show. Otherwise, he was going to get rid of them later on. Don't try to quibble. This is solid evidence. This senior brother seemed to have a sense of justice. On the other hand, the junior brother seemed a little wary. He looked at everyone, as if he wanted his senior brother to consider it, but he didn't know what to say. Ren Yao looked towards Qin Yutong, as if she was saying, I can't take it anymore. They wanted to kill these 2 idiots. They were even more stupid than the 3 robbers. Qin Yutong suddenly laughed lightly and said, this handsome brother, we are really passing by this place. We are going to Meridian Break Sect's Jade Vein Peak to visit my nephew and niece. You bunch of presumptuous people, don't talk nonsense here. It seemed that there was indeed something wrong with this eldest senior brother's brain. He was so inflexible. Could it be that he didn't notice a problem? The junior brother standing behind him whispered, Senior brother, be careful. However, the senior snorted coldly. What's there to be careful about? We are disciples of the Broken Meridian sect. Who dares to provoke us? Dong Huangli, do you know God Yi? Qin Yutong asked tentatively. She had yet to come up with a plan to deal with Meridian Break sect, but it seemed that this mission belonged to Ah Li and God Yi. It was better for her not to interfere. Sure enough, upon hearing the names of Dong Huangli and God Yi, this big senior apprentice brother's expression changed. You are Dong Huangli and God Yi's relative. Qin Yutong was speechless. It seems like I have to rely on these 2 little fellows now. That's right, they are my big sister's children. Originally, we were planning to rest here, but in the end, we met with robbers. Who knew that the robbers would hack themselves to death, and we were unable to stop them at all, sigh. Qin Yutong sighed. Senior brother, little junior sister and little junior brother are people that the sect head thinks highly of. If she really is, we have to properly entertain her. This junior brother still had some brains. Right now, Dong Huangli and God Yi were the big brothers of Jade Vein Peak, and even the Peak Master had to treat them seriously. It was said that not long from now, Dong Huangli and God Yi would be sent to Broken Vein Sect's inner sect, and it was even possible for them to enter the sect master's tutelage. His future was limitless. All right. If you dare to lie to me, the Meridian Break sect will not let you off. All right, how can I, Qin Yutong, lie to people? Oh, that's right, how are those 2 little fellows from that family, did they cause any trouble? Otherwise, your aunt, will have to give them a good spanking. The junior brother said with a smile, junior sister and junior brother have been very obedient in the peak, they have been diligently training, and received everyone's affirmation. Qin Yutong doesn't believe it. If God Yi had been diligently training, I would still believe it, but if you say that Ah Li, that little fellow, was diligently training, Qing Yutong will not believe it no matter what. However, I will know when I go and take a look tomorrow. All right, everyone, let's go and sleep. Qing Yutong waved her hand. Let's have a good sleep, then accompany Ali to play tomorrow. After that, we will continue heading south. It's a pity that I won't be able to see Yi Yan and Yi Lu. They are at the southwest, and they are a bit far. When I have time, I will go and see those two little fellows. The senior brother and junior brother didn't say anything and watched as those people went to sleep. Why did you stop me just now? Senior brother, those people are obviously strong, we have to be careful. So what if they are strong? My broken vein sect is not afraid. You have to remember this. And, senior brother, I understand. It was precisely because of this kind of brainwashing that the disciples of Broken Vein sect were rather arrogant in the outside world. However, it was precisely because of this arrogance that more people wanted to go to Broken Vein sect, because as long as they become a disciple of Broken Vein sect, they would be able to be arrogant. The next morning, everyone continued on their way to Broken Vein sect's Jade Vein Peak. At noon, everyone arrived at the foot of the mountain. There was even a small village at the foot of the mountain. Qing Yutong and the others did not stop there, and after this senior brother's report, they quickly entered Jade Vein Peak. This was much more convenient. Walking on the stairs, one could have a good view of the scenery, and it was indeed very beautiful. Although this Broken Vein sect did not give off the feeling of a nouveau riche, it gave off a feeling of depth. It was just like those kinds of schools that had ancient history, that kind of feeling of depth. This was something that Voidless Empire did not have. Voidless Empire was just like a newbie, but this newbie was bullying elementary school students here, casually crushing them. The few of them walked into Jade Vein Peak. Right now, it was noon, and there were not many people training. Furthermore, most of them were children. Qing Yutong and the others definitely received attention. After all, their appearances were there for all to see. After passing through the front courtyard, this senior brother led Qing Yutong to the guest courtyard. You two can just wait here. After finished speaking, this senior brother left. After the two of them left, Qing Yutong sized up the place curiously. This place is rather interesting. Boring. Yi Zizi pinched her fingernails, appearing to be very bored. However, just as Qing Yutong was about to say something else, an explosion rang out in the entire Jade Vein Peak, and it felt as if the entire mountain was shaking. The hell? We encountered a fight the moment we arrived. Kai Yun couldn't help but cry out in surprise. Qing Yutong walked outside to take a look, and she saw a strand of black smoke slowly rising into the air, and that black smoke didn't seem to be anything good either. However, Qing Yutong discovered that the other disciples were very calm, as if this kind of thing often happened. Qing Yutong casually called a little big brother and asked, and when that little big brother saw a beautiful girl calling him, his face immediately turned red. What was that explosion just now? Qing Yutong asked curiously. The little boy said shyly, "Oh, that came from the pill concocting room, it happens every day." After finished speaking, he even raised his umbrella. Just as Qing Yutong was feeling puzzled, it actually started raining, and this kind of rain actually brought along a kind of strange aura. Don't stretch out your hand, this kind of acid rain can even burn the clothes on your body. Right now, in the entire mountain, everyone has to bring along an umbrella every day when they go out, and this umbrella is specially provided for them. Just who is concocting pills? Is it that scary? Qing Yutong asked curiously. It's Dong Huang Li. What? Dong Huang Li. Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Chapter 938. That's right, right now, we can only hope that Dong Huang Li and God Yi quickly go to the inner court and stop harming us. After all, they are just two little devils. Qing Yutong was speechless. What did Qing Yutong, say? I already said that Ali is not someone who knows her place. Look at the people here, they all hope that these two little fellows can quickly scram. Just as Qing Yutong was laughing, two voices sounded out, Little Ant. When the boys saw that Dong Wangli and God Yi had arrived, he was immediately shocked. When he heard that they called this woman Ant, he was even more shocked. Dong Wangli was wearing a gray robe that was tattered, and even her face was covered in dust. Those who did not know might even think that her face was originally that dark. Looking at God Yi, he had grown quite a bit taller, but his expression was still so cold. Ali, Qing Yutong shouted out excitedly. I haven't seen Ali for a long time, I really miss him. Qing Yutong immediately hugged Dong Wangli, while Ali kissed Qing Yutong, then hugged her tightly. This was the warmth of family. However, the big brother who was standing at the side was trembling in fear. The great demon king Dong Wangli actually has such a side to her. This is definitely a fake Dong Wangli, let's just leave. That God Ye's gaze is so scary. Right now, God Ye is like Dong Wangli's bodyguard, whoever dares to look at her sister will receive a death stare. Look again. I'll cut you in half. God Yi, let Ant hug you. Qing Yutong laughed. God Yi took a step back. Ant is very scary. However, Qing Yutong didn't care about that, she just liked God Ye's cold look, it was much more fun than Yi Yen. Therefore, Qing Yutong hugged God Yi and kissed him on his cheek. This made the cold God Ye's face immediately turn red. Our little handsome brother's face is turning red, tell Ant, did you flirt with this big sister? Qing Yutong carried the two children and walked into the courtyard. God Yi said softly, I'm not interested in women. Qing Yutong was speechless. This is not good news, God Yi is actually not interested in women, my God, God Yi, this won't do, your father said that you must bring your wife when you go back in the future, if you don't bring your wife, you are not allowed to go back. God Yi frowned. Really? Of course it's true. When has my aunt ever lied? What about them? They are all the same. Qing Yutong said nonsense. Doesn't Dong Wangli know that this little aunt is definitely lying? How can it be possible for her father to say such a thing? However, God Yi believed it. However, when they returned, God Yi was the only one with a woman among the four siblings. It was an awkward scene. Of course, that was 10 years later. From then on, God Yi no longer believed in his little aunt. She was simply a big liar. Did Mom and Dad come? Dong Wangli asked curiously. It would have been fine if Qing Yutong didn't come, after all, the moment she came, she immediately missed her mom and dad. Qing Yutong patted off the dust that was on Dong Wangli's face, I didn't, but other people came. Is that so? Who is it? We will know once we enter the house and take a look. Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. Dong Wangli jumped down from Qing Yutong's embrace, then directly ran into the house. Then, he heard laughter coming from inside. Dong Wangli, Yi Zizi, and Kai Yun were quite familiar with each other. Because their body sizes were about the same, they were able to play together. On the other hand, Brett and Yuhua rarely came into contact with each other. Although they were father subordinates, they would normally stay at home. Other than meetings, they would not be able to see each other at all. Qing Yutong held on to God Ye's hand and walked into the house. However, God Ye had a gloomy look on his face. I am no longer a child, there is no need for me to hold on to my hand like this. However, in Qing Yutong's eyes, God Ye was just a child. This was the first time Yang Haotian and Ren Yao saw these two children. Because these savage women seem to dote on these two children a lot, this is truly shameful. Whose children are they? Are they really that awesome? Aunt Brett, let me tell you a piece of good news. Dong Wangli said with a smile. Ollie, what good news? Did you find a boyfriend? Brett said with a light smile. Dong Wangli pouted her mouth. What boyfriend? They are all trash, not a single one of them caught my eye. Oh, what good news is that? Hee, I've invented a type of medicinal pill that can treat infertility. Dong Wangli was very proud of herself. It seems like all of my dad's subordinates are infertile. Just look at Aunt Zishan, she just wanted to have a child, but after so many years, she is still unable to get pregnant. How pitiful. When everyone heard this, they couldn't help but giggle. Such a big child already knew about infertility. However, after Yu Hua and Brett heard this, their expressions were a little strange. Yu Hua and Lai Gu had been together for a very long time. Yu Hua also wanted to have a child, but she couldn't get pregnant. Could it be that there was a problem with the genes? But, his honor is also one of the undead race. If his honor and his honor's wife can give birth to a child, then why can't I and Lai Gu? Brett was worried that after Absolute Heaven returned to his human form, he would be unable to conceive as well. After all, the trend of infertility had already spread throughout the team. Even his honor wasn't able to find the cause of the problem and expressed that there was nothing he could do about it. Which woman didn't want to have children? So, this problem must be solved. Right now, when he heard that Dong Wangli had actually found the reason, he would definitely be filled with expectations. Don't think that Dong Wangli is young and immature. Brett and Yuhua definitely believed in Dong Wangli's words. Ollie, have you concocted it? Yuhua hurriedly asked. Dong Wangli could be seen taking out a red bottle, then said with a smile, I have already concocted 3 pills, but due to the lack of materials, I failed many times and was scolded by everyone. They said that I am going to destroy the entire Jade Vein Peak. God, ye couldn't help but say, Big sister, if you continue concocting it, it is indeed going to be destroyed. You dare to say that to your big sister? Is it because your little aunt is here that you think that you are awesome? Stretch out your hand. Dong Wangli immediately acted like a big sister. God Yu was still very obedient and stretched out his hand. Dong Wangli slapped onto God Ye's small white hand. Looking at the pair of siblings, Qing Yutong laughed. Seems like their relationship is getting better and better. There is nothing wrong with brother-in-law's arrangement. One must know that in the past, Dong Wangli and God Yu rarely spoke to each other. They didn't even seem like biological siblings at all. Look at them now, this is what siblings should be. If God Yu were to wear women's clothing, he would also be a great beauty. His skin is very good, and he has inherited it from the Empress. Dong Wangli passed the small bottle that was in her hand to Brett, then said sweetly, These 3 pills will definitely be effective, but I have yet to test it. Everyone, due to the explosion that happened just now, Brett and Yuhua didn't dare to test it. Let's just try it as a last resort, I guarantee that there won't be any side effects after eating it. Who knows, I might even be able to conceive a child. What Dong Wangli said wasn't wrong. Chapter 939. Omega 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 choking with sobs. Yuhua was not afraid. She would know after trying. Oh, that's right, this medicine is for men to eat. Dong Wangli said solemnly. God Yi said nothing. Everyone, Yang Haotian and Renyao felt that their men were all too weak. If not, why would they still have to take medicine? Life must be uncomfortable. However, is the medicine that Dong Wangli made really normal medicine? Hearing that the medicine was for men, she was relieved. Auntie, why do you have time to come over this time? He must have come to see Ali on the way. Moreover, there are so many of them at once. He must have been punished by father. Everyone was speechless. You guessed it right. However, young Haotian and Renya were shocked. Father. He was punished by his father. These horrible women were punished by this child's father. What kind of person was this father? He could actually punish them. He wasn't human at all. Qin Yutong laughed coquettishly. This matter, it's a long story. During this period of time, a lot of things happened. Upon hearing that, Dong Huangli became depressed. Why is it that the moment I leave, there will be something fun to play with? This is so boring. Ollie has to grow up quickly. When the time comes, Auntie will take you to have fun. Who are these two? I have never seen you before. Dong Huangli said while looking at Ren Yao and Yang Haotian. Qin Yutong said with a smile, these two are awesome, this handsome guy is wooing Zizi. You actually like Lolas, so perverted. Dong Huangli said while looking at Yang Haotian. As expected, all uncles like Lolas, so evil. The corner of Yi Zizi's mouth twitched. She wished she could pinch Yang Haotian to death. She had lost all her face because of him. Yang Haotian actually wanted to explain that he didn't like the loli, he liked the red packet on her butt. Who would like a loli for no reason? He must be crazy. Moreover, this was a violent Lolita. He could not afford to offend her. What about this bald-headed uncle? Brett chuckled. This isn't Uncle Baldy. Could it be Aunt Baldy? Yuhua added, it's not a bald-headed auntie either. My God, what is that? Dong Huangli felt that her brain wasn't enough to process what was going on. Ren Yao was depressed. So what if I'm a neutral person? Did I offend you guys or something? How dare you guys look down on neutral people? I am a guardian. Ren Yao had to emphasize that she was a powerful guardian. Although it was a bit of a scam, at least her reputation was still here. Sounds like it's very powerful. He's actually a weakling, Yi Zizi said in a low voice. Ren Yao, this is too much of a blow to me. Be careful that I don't shut myself off. Oh right, little ant, what are you guys doing here? Bring me along, don't you think so, God Yi? I want to learn, God Yi said calmly, carrying out his ruthlessness to the very end. Dong Huangli immediately rolled her eyes, you only know how to cultivate. If it wasn't for me bringing you along to play, you would have already become a fool. Big sister is the one. What? Give me your hand. God Yi extended his hand obediently. Clap, clap. Qin Yutong shook her head, then said with a smile, Ollie, the reason why we came here is naturally because of your father's arrangement. As for what it is, you should know, right? Dong Huangli immediately understood, then said with a strange evil smile, I understand, I understand. I really want to go and play with you guys. In a few days, I will be going to the inner sect with God Yi. Qin Yutong stroked onto Qin Yutong's hair, not bad, you guys have improved once again. However, you guys need to be clear about your identities. Dong Huangli and God Yi nodded their heads seriously. My identity is to take revenge for my father, that's all. I won't add any other emotions. Alright, and won't disturb you guys anymore, in case others get suspicious, we'll be leaving first. Hearing that Qin Yutong was leaving, Dong Huangli and God Yi revealed a look of reluctance. After all, they were all children. Even the cold God Yi hugged onto Qin Yutong. The two of you have to properly take care of each other, that way, Mom and Dad will be more at ease. Qin Yutong patted onto the two little fellows' heads and said gently. And I will take good care of Big Sister. It's fine as long as you don't cause trouble for Big Sister. Dong Huangli rolled her eyes at her little brother. Qin Yutong feels that the next time she sees the two of them, they will most likely be good siblings. Brother-in-law's method is quite useful. Alright, you guys can leave first. If you don't leave, we won't be able to bear it. Dong Huangli said with a slightly choked voice. These two little fellows are truly pitiful. When others are already this big, they are still acting coquettishly beside their parents. Yet, they have to stay here to complete their mission and receive training. Qin Yutong squatted down and kissed the two of them, and is leaving now. You two have to be obedient. N. Qin Yutong let out a breath, then walked out of the room. The two children in the room said their goodbyes to the others, then went down the mountain. On the other hand, Qin Yutong was a bit sad. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come to see the two little fellows. Looking at Ed leaving, Dong Huangli and God Yi were a bit hesitant. After a long while, Dong Huangli took a deep breath. I'm going to concoct medicine. Big sister, you are not concocting medicine, you are trying to destroy the entire Jade Vein Peak, right? Dong Huangli patted on her little brother's head. What do you know? I am investing in research, of course, there is a risk. After all, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. Don't you know this logic? That medicine that you concocted, it even scared the Peak Lord's mount to the point of paralysis. That little guy is too gutsy. Didn't he just vomit for a month? That's the side effect of research. Oh right, recently, Big Sister concocted a new medicine, can you test it for me? I suddenly forgot that the door was not closed. Big Sister, I'll be leaving first. After finished speaking, God Yi ran off and disappeared. God Yi still remembered that the first time he was tricked by his big sister, he ended up having diarrhea for 3 days and 3 nights. That feeling was even worse than death. Big sister said that she concocted an anti-diarrhea medicine, but I was tricked again. That is called anti-diarrhea medicine. That is probably an enhanced version of a laxative. Originally, I was about to recover, but in the end, I ended up having diarrhea for 7 days and 7 nights. Furthermore, that medicine is very miraculous, the kind that is unable to cure diarrhea. In the end, Big Sister came back with another medicine, and even guaranteed that it will be effective this time. If I, God Yi, were to be tricked again, it would be embarrassing my father. That's why I let Big Sister try it. Unexpectedly, Big Sister stuffed the medicine into my mouth without saying anything. This time, I, God Yi, believed it, and stuffed one into my mouth as well. However, the toilet had another person squatting in it. If I, God Yi, were to die in the future, I will definitely die in Big Sister's hands. If Big Sister were to die in the future, I will definitely poison her to death. However, from then on, Big Sister no longer took my medicine, and would instead look for people to test the medicine. In the beginning, there were still a lot of people who were willing, and some even queued up to try the medicine. However, a month later, the disciples came to a realization. Baidu search 081 Chinese website Yen. Chapter 940. Translation. However, a month later, the disciples came to their senses. Life is precious, don't joke around. Since there was no one to test the medicine, Sister went to find animals to test the medicine. The most miserable was the Peak Lord's mount. Although it was not a high-grade mount, it was still a powerful species. That ferocious aura made people tremble. In the end, Sister turned that ferocious mount into a little lamb. The Peak Lord wanted to die. He wished he could ask the sect master to take Dong Huangli and him away. Sister is already addicted to medicine. If she doesn't do medicine for a day, she will feel itchy all over. That kind of cauldron explosion happens every day. I'm really worried that Sister will blow up the entire Jade Vein Peak one day. Compared to Sister's achievements, he was much better. All he did was find someone to train with. Unfortunately, there was no one to train with him now. Sister didn't train with him either. This made me, God Yi, fight with my left hand. I wonder what Yi Lu is doing. Is she the same as me? This was the loneliness of being an expert. It was just like that saying. Being invincible is lonely. When he thought of the other task his father gave him, God Yi felt a headache. Find a girlfriend to bring home. I, God Yi, don't have time to fall in love. How is a girlfriend more important than training? If I find a girlfriend like sister, won't I be annoyed to death? Fortunately, it's still early. I don't have time to think about girlfriends. I'm looking forward to the battle with my sister. When the time comes, I will represent Broken Pulse Sect, and my sister will represent Shin Institution. I'll see how her training is going. At that moment, God Yi was thirsty. I still have to challenge my father in the future. I, God Yi, want to surpass my father and take up the responsibility of protecting my family. God Yi had a great ambition. Dong Huangli also had a great ambition. That was to concoct a super pill. After eating it, one would become invincible. This was just the beginning. However, Yi Yan, who was far away in Shin Institution, also had a great ambition. That was to become a musician who plays the flute. Shin Institution was actually slightly smaller than Broken Pulse Sect. It did not have such a large territory. However, because it was smaller, the admission requirements were stricter. Some people could not get in no matter how hard they tried. In Minglan Principality, Shin Institution occupied 3/5 of the area. However, Minglan Principality was much larger than Wushu Empire. It was the largest duchy in the entire Kangluo continent. Every day, people from the Kangluo continent would come to experience the splendor of the deity institution. Similarly, deity institution was divided into the inner courtyard and outer courtyard. The inner courtyard was at the heart, while the outer courtyard surrounded the inner courtyard. But there were also many branches in the outer court, and there were countless of them. But in one of the branches, everyone was suffering because they really wanted to die. I haven't slept well for a few months. That damn Yi Yan, can you stop playing the flute? Are you trying to blow us to death? If you didn't have a powerful sister, I'm sure we would beat the shit out of you. However, at this time, Yi Yan was walking in the branch with a pace that didn't recognize anyone. He even had a black flute at his waist. Everyone clenched their fists, wishing they could put a sack on him and beat him to sh*t. However, when they saw the girl behind her, everyone immediately dispelled this terrifying thought. Actually, no one dared to do so, because the headmaster had taken a fancy to these two, and it was said that they would soon become the headmaster's disciples. That was a supreme being. Who would dare to provoke them? These were two little devils. Yan walked with a pace that didn't recognize anyone, while Yi Lu coldly followed behind. Little sister, you have to protect Big Brother. If something happens to Big Brother, Mom will cry to death. Yi Yan grabbed Yi Lu's little hand and said with a sincere tone. Yi Lu narrowed her eyes. Big Brother, Mom and Dad asked you to take care of me and protect me. In the end, I'm the one protecting you and taking care of you. If I wasn't your little sister, Yi Yan patted Yi Lu's head. This action scared everyone. You actually dared to pat the head of a female devil. If you weren't the Big Brother, you would probably be chopped to death. Big Brother only has one little sister. We have the same mother. If you don't take care of Big Brother, who will? Big Brother still has to show off with you. Yi Lu suddenly revealed a cute smile. This made Yi Yan's body tremble. Big Brother, damn, Yi Yan felt that he couldn't take it anymore. Hurry up and change back. I can't stand you like this. Big Brother, I was wrong, okay? My little ancestor, I'll play a song for you, okay? Yi Lu immediately rolled her eyes. Big Brother could blow someone to death when he fought with them. Then Big Brother, can you spar with me? I beg you, Big Brother. Yi Lu pulled Yi Yan's arm and acted like a spoiled child. How could I, Yi Yan, be your sparring partner? You're so fierce at such a young age. As a big brother, can I really hit you? I'll let you hit me every time. When the surrounding people saw Yi Lu acting like a spoiled child, they finally felt that Yi Lu was like a normal person. This was the attitude that a girl should have. How cute. However, there was a demon hidden under this cute smile. Yi Lu had already fought all over the branch and could not find anyone else. She had encountered the same problem as God Yi. However, Yi Lu felt that it was best if only her big brother could be her sparring partner. When the time came, she would represent Shan Academy and beat brother God Yi up for bullying her when she was young. It's not convenient for big brother these few days. You know, boys have a few days every month. When the surrounding people heard this, they felt a bit dizzy. Especially some girls who heard it, their faces reddened. This Yi Yan was really a little hooligan. But such a cute little hooligan really made them like him. It had to be said that Yi Yan had the tendency to become a playboy. He already knew how to flirt at such a young age. What would happen when he grew up? Big brother, you don't love your little sister anymore. Lu hates you. Yi Yan rolled his eyes. This Lu always did this. The problem was that he fell for it. This was his own little sister. If he didn't dote on her, who would? Big brother was wrong. Don't be angry, okay? Yi Yan hurriedly coaxed with a helpless expression. Yi Lu was delighted. Of course she knew that her big brother loved her. After all, he was her big brother. I knew big brother was the best. Yi Lu tiptoed and kissed him. This made the surrounding boys envious. This was a kiss from a goddess. Although it was her big brother, they still felt unhappy and jealous. Yi Yan rubbed his cheek and said helplessly, you're not allowed to kiss big brother in the future. No, I just like kissing big brothers, Yi Lu said with a smile. I really have to give it to you. I'm really worried for my future brother-in-law. Big brother, you should be worried for brother-in-law. Big sister has a tendency to domestic violence. Yi Yan rubbed his chin, indicating that it was very likely. Big sister was very violent. Baidu search 881 Chinese network. No advertising words. Chapter 941. Looking at the current Yi Yan and Yi Lu, this was the relationship that siblings should have. Once again, it showed that Yi Hua's arrangement was correct. I wonder what sister is doing now, and that ice lump, Yi Yan murmured. Yi Lu, who was at the side, became cold again. She only acted coquettishly to her own brother. Indeed, Yi Lu did not act coquettishly in front of God Yi. She only acted coquettishly in front of Yi Yan because Yi Yan was her brother. Sister must be bullying brother God Yi, Yi Lu said indifferently. Yi Lu said faintly as he pulled Yi Yan towards the cultivation room. He was already a little impatient. Yi Yan sighed. God Yi is so pitiful. Fortunately, Dad was smart and let me team up with you. Otherwise, I would have been killed by sister. Now you know that sister is good. You ignored me in the past. My good Lu, why did brother ignore you in the past? It was you who didn't play with brother and always hung out with God Yi. Yi Yan pouted. How could he say that he, as a brother, did not play with him? How heartless. Yi Lu smiled. Brother, I know I was wrong. I'll accompany brother more in the future. Yi Yan hugged his sister's shoulder. That's my good sister. Let's go. I'll let you practice. But I have to say, don't slap my face. I won't slap his face this time. I know you want to pick up girls. Hee hee, don't tell mom and dad. This is a little secret between us. I know. The siblings walked towards the training room under everyone's gaze. Then, they both sighed. They mourned for the training room for a second. Because it was about to collapse. It would basically collapse once a month. These two were simply perverts. As the siblings walked into the training room, everyone had a panicked expression, especially those who were taught a lesson by Yi Lu. They immediately pretended not to see it. Yi Yan continued to walk without caring about anyone. Yi Lu returned to her normal expression. Acting coquettishly was not a normal expression. The two walked towards the dedicated training room. Yi Yan pushed open the heavy metal door. Shouts could be heard from inside. Another child of the same age was waving his fists. He looked very serious, and his face was covered in sweat. It's him again, Yi Yan muttered. Emisham, Yi Lu replied calmly. The boy inside turned around to look at Yi Yan and Yi Lu. Of course, he knew them. They were about to become the principal's final disciples. No one dared to provoke them. It could be said that they could do whatever they wanted in Deity Institution. But he refused to accept it. Why were they allowed to become the disciples of Jizun and not him? He slept later than them, got up earlier than them, and worked harder than them. As for that Yi Yan, he only knows how to use his flute to tease the female students every day, and that Yi Lu bullies people everywhere. How could the dean accept them as his final disciples? He must be blind. My forest city will definitely not lose to them. At that time, everyone will regret it. And those murderers who killed his family, none of them would be able to escape. Why don't we wait for him to finish? He looks pretty miserable. Yi Yan said softly. He also knew that Lin Qing was very poor, not just a normal kind of poor. He basically ate buns every day and couldn't afford anything else. Yi Lu didn't object. On the contrary, he admired hard-working people. Although Lin Qing was a little poor, he didn't lack ambition. He was famous for being hard-working. He heard that a teacher in the inner courtyard planned to take him as a disciple. In the future, he would be able to make a name for himself. Unfortunately, he was born at the finish line. There was nothing he could do about it. Who told him to have such an amazing father? Coming out of his mother's womb meant that he would be extraordinary in life. Since they planned to wait, the two of them sat at the side and waited. They chatted softly and didn't disturb other people's cultivation. Although this training was just to hit a wooden pole. Lin Cheng's fists were getting heavier and heavier. The two of them were actually sitting at the side and laughing at him. He would return this humiliation many times over in the future. Pang! Gotcha! Following Lin Cheng's angry punch, the wooden dummy was directly broken. A strange atmosphere floated in the empty cultivation room. Yi Yan felt that he should clap and praise him. So, Yi Yan started to clap. However, such applause was an even greater humiliation to Lin Qing. He was actually laughing at him. Lin Qing couldn't take it anymore. He suddenly pointed at Yi Yan and said, "I want to fight you." Yi Yan, who was clapping, was stunned. He looked at his sister beside him. What did he say? He wants to fight you one-on-one. Yi Lu said calmly and didn't care at all. He was just asking to die. He overestimated himself. Yi Yan also felt that it was weird. Why did he want to fight him for no reason? Other people wouldn't fight him. Knowing his own strength, Yi Yan persuaded, "It is best if you don't fight." You have trained for so long, go and rest. Do you think it is beneath you to fight me? Are you looking down on me? Lin Qing hollered. Brother, you should go. Yi Lu said calmly. Since he wanted to, then he should grant him his wish. In the future, he wouldn't bother him anymore. Yi Yan was helpless. He stood up and walked down. He stood not far from Lin Qing. Lin Qing clenched his fists tightly. His chest rose up and down like he was really angry. Yi Yan sensed it too. He didn't know why this fellow was angry. Did he have a crush on his sister? That was possible. However, Lu wouldn't like someone like him. Lin Qing, just fight casually. Yi Yan, don't look down on me. You have to treat me seriously. Lin Qing shouted with an immature voice. Yi Yan smiled bitterly. When did I look down on you? You must have misunderstood something. There is no misunderstanding between us. Come. Today, I will defeat you. Lin Qing slightly leaned forward, his center of gravity between his legs. His left fist aimed at Yi Yan's forehead. His right fist was on his stomach. This was the simplest fist technique in Deity Institution. Of course, Yi Yan knew about it. He had learned it all because it was really simple. However, as for why Lin Qing hated him so much, Yi Yan didn't understand. Was this the so-called unreasonable hatred of the rich? That was a bit unfair. Yi Yan, was a very polite man. He would never look down on others because of something. However, if some people really wanted to be stubborn, then he would look down on them. Then, you can come. Yi Yan just stood there. He really couldn't raise any interest. This was just an ordinary person who didn't even have battle chi. He could poke him to death with one finger. Forget it, forget it. He should just pretend to be serious. Otherwise, he would say that Yi Yan, was looking down on him again. Lin Qing saw all of this. He was furious to the extreme. His body shook, and then he shouted angrily. Baidu search 881 Chinese network yen. Yen, you're tuning into the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.